All right.
Whoops.
So, hey, that's our alarm to go live. It's just on the minute. So, how does the sound? Delicate? Are we a mess?
How's the sound sound?
How's
Does
the
the sound
sound
sound?
sound?
Anything?
No?
No. Jeez. I know I got sound.
Yeah, can you stop going off there?
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
This is a
I
professional
just,
outfit.
What are you, Ryan Reynolds?
We're a top. No, yeah, what are you? Ryan Dan Reynolds? Well, Delicate, you got to tell us if you can hear us. Oh, it sounds good. Great.
Oh, wonderful.
What a relief.
Thanks.
It was Patreon, man.
Poor Delicate was probably like washing dishes, like covered in suds, to like
Archival's here.
hurry up and tell us. 'Cause
Hello, archival record.
we don't know how to run our own show.
Yeah. Well, it was weird, but I mean, I never had that kind of trouble before. I swear, like I'm not going to bore people with pulling up, the tarot cards and putting them in front of you and being like,
Oh, you're
this
saying
means this and that means that. But
you're
let me
just saying that the trouble on Sunday was foretold.
dude, I pull 2 tarot cards every morning.
Uh-huh.
And I pulled this one card called the Five of Pentacles, and I was like, what the fuck? Because it's like the basic portrayal of the card is, this sort of these sort of injured, like, unhoused perhaps people walking beside a church which is extremely rich, and they're locked, like
They're locked out the church.
out of the church.
Yeah. Sanctuary.
And then the second one I got was this guy. It's the I think it was a 7 of Pentacles. He's sitting there at his workbench banging pentacles. He's like he's kind of like he's not enjoying his work. The work is not fulfilling. It's not happening. There's some kind of blockage. It's also a card ruled by Saturn. So the first card was ruled by Mercury, but it's bad Mercury. And then the second card was ruled by Saturn.
And so not a few hours
Mercury.
later. What?
Mercury is the key word because, Mercury would go to the tech problems and
Oh yeah. So just a few hours after that, you try to do a live on Sunday,
and we're locked out basically.
and the fucking and the audio is all fucked up.
Yeah, we can't go live.
We sounded like the Borg again.
Yeah. And then, I checked my headphones and everything was great on our end. Everything that was going out
Yeah.
was going out,
Right.
lovely. Anyway, it was
There's
fucking,
gotta
it was,
be a
it was
way.
the most like the most, since I've been pulling daily tarot cards, it was like just absolute perfection in terms of like calling the day.
Yeah.
It's amazing. And it really like, it opened my mind and my eyes to be more like sort of giving me some guidance on what to look for, how to look for things that are happening that might be, sort of an expression of whatever energy that I'm delving
Is
into.
it T. Susan Chang that she's like that really cute nerdy lady that does all the tarot stuff?
Yeah. She laughs a lot.
Yeah, right. She said that she draws a tarot card each day to sort of like as
very
like
common,
a
yeah.
forecast for like what's my day gonna be like. And sometimes if she ever pulls the Hanged Man, which is literally like a guy hanging from his foot. She said that sometimes she knows that in some ways the Hanged Man will manifest in her day. And so what she does is she deliberately goes and like she'll go to like the landing in her stairs and then do a handstand so that she can like appease the fates and just be like, see, I did it. It's already done. Now the rest of my day can be smooth, right?
I think that's how it works. T. Susan Chang. Yeah, no, T. Susan Chang, she's cool. We have a bunch of her albums, no, her books. I've been reading on, because like I kind of just, it's like a daily reading thing or whatever, but I've been reading her for, a couple years now.
Mm-hmm.
She's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I like that chick. So here, let's just get to the Taylor Swift conversation real quick and just have it. Interesting that Delicate thinks that it's not probable because he was in at OTCs, OTAs, but OTAs, which are optional practice with I think they're optional. Yeah, I think that's what the O stands for.
Oh.
It's optional practice with the team, before they go into training camp, right? So it's like optional training, whatever.
And he's no rookie, so.
And he's there. No, he was there. He was there.
Oh.
But it doesn't mean he didn't go to Rhode Island. These guys are jet setters. That's what they do. They'll go to Europe for the weekend,
Mm-hmm.
So that does not mean he didn't get married at Rhode Island, because it's not that they didn't, again, like the production of their wedding is going to be on July 3rd. But it's entirely possible that they have a very intimate,
the official part of
yeah,
the
because
wedding.
they're people who want for nothing. They're not a bunch of people sitting around who've been like waiting for this in their moment and in their day, and in their lives. They've had just absolutely unimaginable lives, and both of them since they were young. Like Travis Kelce was, a highly prospected collegiate athlete. He was already, mingling with, the upper echelon of his scene. So, oh my God, Kylie DiCaprio is here. She graduated.
Oh, sweet.
That
Congrats.
is so fucking great. Congratulations. Oh my gosh. She's like,
That's
I have finally time to watch shows, movies again.
Oh, no.
That's so great.
You did your work.
Congratulations. That's so fucking awesome.
Yeah, that's rad. I remember studying so hard and just being like, oh yeah, you guys really like that new show that's on? Wish I could find out. Wish I could watch any of it. But all of your waking hours are spent studying, like cramming your brain.
Yep, studying's hard.
It's a good feeling though.
That's so great.
Do you want to pull up this this alleged wedding time astrology chart, or should we just talk about it?
Let's just talk about it. So,
okay.
Listen, we don't know that it went down. We're not saying it did. If there truly were fireworks going off at her residence.
Okay, here's the thing. Here's the scoop.
Saturday?
Yes. So
it's entirely possible.
There was someone who was on the beach at dusk in Rhode Island.
Yeah.
And they filmed down the shore from where they were, and it was fireworks over Taylor Swift's place. And the person posted the video, and they were like, "Congratulations, I guess."
Yeah, it's probably not a graduation party.
The date was June 6th, and because it was at dusk, I just sort of like assumed that they probably elected the time. I do believe that Taylor Swift has an astrologer, or maybe she is an astrologer. I don't know. Have you ever seen those conspiracy theories that she's like this old like witch priestess?
No. I like that one.
She has like a doppelganger from like a couple decades ago of this like high priestess witch lady that looks exactly like her. I love those conspiracy theories that like our pop stars, our like movie stars are just like immortal beings that have to keep reinventing themselves.
Yeah.
Because they're bored.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Before you go, can Kylie DiCaprio ask an astrology question really quick?
Oh yeah, sure. Yeah.
Is the astrology good at the moment?
Yes.
Is it a good time to start new things?
Yes, but specifically, I don't know if you have access to a chart software. But if you can get early in the morning,
go to like AstroSeek, or
at least in the United States, early in the morning when it's Cancer rising. No, not Cancer. I'm sorry. Let me just look this up.
Yeah, it would make sense. That's where Jupiter is right now, right?
We used it today. No, Cancer was in the early afternoon. Sorry, let me navigate. So here it is. Yeah. Oh, I'm tripping. Okay, so we had an election today. Election meaning like you try and orient the chart of a day, of the time of the day, so that it's all like making aspects like to the best stuff, so that you're basically creating a birth chart of a moment. So if this is the sort of thing you're talking about doing, like pressing the button to launch a business or some sort of promotion or something, or like sending an email, right? Like if it's a moment where prior to doing that thing, it hasn't been done, but by doing that thing, it is done. Like that's usually what the sort of action that we try to elect for.
Yeah, I mean, very, very simply put, it's like, it's choosing an auspicious moment in time where all the planets and energies can kind of align in a configuration that can be good for things like starting something or finishing something.
So you're trying to
select,
essentially select like a birth chart for the moment.
Correct.
Like for a wedding, like for Taylor Swift's wedding, it wouldn't be like when her guests arrive or when she walks down the aisle. Like that wouldn't make the wedding official, because anybody can do a reception, anybody can do a wedding ceremony. What makes it official is signing the documents that makes you married. So that's why I think that she has actually already done it. Anyway,
Also, it's not, you get to decide. You get to decide, and that's one of the cool things is like you can decide where the election is and what signifies the moment. Like, so
Usually
you can decide, like if Angela and I were getting married, or we're going to renew our vows, or
like
something.
you're buying a house. It's like when you sign on the dotted line. Usually.
No. What I'm saying is that you can choose when you have the power to be able to what commemorates the moment. So like, or what kicks off the energy, right?
Yes.
So you get to decide, like, like for example, if it's about like a communication you want to have, and you can decide, well, hey, I'm going to send that person a note or a gift or whatever it might be. And it can be the moment that you buy the postage, for example. That can be then the sort of invocation of that energy.
Like whatever hopefully makes it an official thing that has happened.
Well, key to that is you. You can, there are...
Okay. I don't know why you're making it.
Well, because it's just important, because like people might get hung up on that, like, is this it? And it can be, as long as you feel like that's the moment that the thing is truly beginning, or where that energy is sort of kicking off, that's where you can choose to, sort of do the thing, whatever it is.
To answer Delicate's question, yes, tomorrow's awesome, but you want to try and catch the ascendant in Cancer, and wherever you live, if you could put the MC degree in Pisces early in the morning. And then there's another one in the afternoon where if you can put the ascendant in Libra, that sort of amplifies the Venus part of the chart. And then, but that MC degree is going to be in Cancer.
Yeah, and the
so usually it's just 2 times a day. Today was really the best, but tomorrow works too. Just because the moon's placement changes. So the moon tomorrow is going to be in Aries. Today it was in Pisces, which is nice.
We sent like a score of books to some people that we'd love to read the book.
Yeah, trying to.
That's how we used
trying to judge the election today. Tomorrow's not like totally bad. It's just that the moon is the most important factor you look for in electional astrology, and the moon is going to be in Aries, and so that's not. The moon doesn't like to be in Aries typically. It's not like the worst place, but
it's not great. Energy is kind of conflicting there.
Yeah.
But the moon can be very helpful to Aries, but Aries not so much for the moon.
So anyway,
Phil Bombing is here, by the way.
What I was saying before you took that question,
yeah,
was I was talking about Taylor Swift maybe getting married. Okay, do you remember we were on that topic?
Of course.
Okay, cool. So when the person posted the video of the fireworks over her house, it was June 6th. And then I just tried to see, like, when did the moon first enter Pisces? And that was at 8:45 p.m. on June 6th, Saturday. So I was like, okay, so 9 p.m. wedding, maybe 8:45 p.m. wedding.
Yeah, very possible. Just waiting for that moon wedding.
Because prior to that, the moon would have been Saturn ruled in Aquarius, and that's not super ideal.
Pisces is in Taylor Swift's 5th house of pleasure, and also children, by the way. And Pisces is in Travis Kelce's 7th house of marriage. So it's like, as far as astrology goes, it's on the money, basically. Like you want to try to line it up for both in this case. So to be able to line it up in her house of pleasure and his house of marriage, in an already auspicious chart with Cancer delighting in the company of Jupiter and so on.
But you tell me, what would be another reason for those fireworks during wedding season with this astrology? You tell me.
I'm saying
I think it's conclusive
that legitimately it is there is a very reasonable possibility. It might even be a likelihood that they got married on Saturday.
She's also, Taylor Swift has cats. She's not just going to like be willy-nilly with the fireworks.
They also have extremely busy lives, so it wouldn't be uncommon, and they have a lot of staff to help them through those busy times. And so it wouldn't be uncommon in any way, especially once, because they're working with astrology to fit. Look, here's the thing about working with astrology is you put the day where it's most auspicious, not for you, meaning your schedule necessarily, but for the stars. And so when the stars are aligned, you kind of have to stop what you're doing a lot of times. And the richer you are, the more opportunity you have to do that. Like, for example, us working folk who are like, putting 9 to 5s in, those people can't take advantage of a 325 fucking Cancer ascendant with Jupiter conjunct the ascendant. They can't. They're not fucking able to do it because their boss is going to be like, you do this every month. But Taylor Swift can, and Travis Kelce can. So even if it means that, hey, no, they're not always. Sometimes they're shooting a movie, or they're in the studio, or he's playing in the fucking Super Bowl. I mean, there are certain variables that can't be moved. There are certain things that can't become variables in their life. OTAs is actually a variable, but he might want to be there, especially if he knows this is his last season. He might want to be for, try to take advantage of every minute of football that he can. I mean, it's been his entire life since he was a peewee, So, and he's about to like move on from it. It's a fucking major change, bro. I mean, fortunately, he's doing it in a way that is spectacular from our point of view. Hopefully it goes well for him as well. 100% chance, not 100% chance. Yes, she could have absolutely got married on Saturday. The moon moving into Pisces at around this time the celebration happened is, to me, if in fact there was a celebration at Taylor Swift's house on Saturday.
Also, it was the date was 6/6/26, and we all know that she worships Satan. So
there's that.
Obviously.
Yeah, so there you go. You got the whole Satan thing too. Forget about it. It's a wrap. They probably sacrificed some kind of living
Isn't she
thing.
into numerology?
I'm sure. I'm sure if she's into astrology, she's dabbled thereabouts.
I think I remember somebody saying that she used to drop all kinds of like numerology Easter eggs everywhere. So
numerology, I can't find my way toward. I'm trying to, because it's used. It's in every book I read, but I don't.
I was publicly educated, and so numbers and math are very difficult for me. And so I've always had an aversion to figuring it out. But I'm interested in numerology. I feel like all the smartest people understand how to use that.
Yeah, I mean, I've done the whole like life path number thing. I've done that. I've done yours. Yours is interesting. Yours is 11. It's considered a master number.
Oh, can't you tell? I mean, yeah. Look at me.
Yeah.
Total master.
It's kind of a big deal in numerology. I'm not shitting you. And then
I know.
And mine is 7, which is like all about like spiritual this, spiritual that. Bunch of nonsense if you ask me.
We know.
Yeah, listen, I think Taylor Swift got married. I do.
I do. Get it?
And,
see what you did there?
And I don't think she's getting married on the 3rd in front of everybody. I love the idea that they're putting, like, look, man. So it leaked that they're doing Madison Square Garden.
That's not something that leaks.
Well, it also like takes everybody's attention off
Madison
of it
Square
because through
Garden.
it takes everybody's attention off of the private affair.
Yeah.
Like, so if all of a sudden they announce it and they're like, and then they treat it like a leak because they were trying to keep it secret, but you guys are just too nosy and too good
you
these
rascally
days.
rabbits figured it out.
Yeah, you rascal rabbits. Instead, they're fucking, they're cozy up to do the important thing. And remember, like, I think that if she is an astrologer or using an astrologer, or there's a combination of that happening in her life, then there is almost no doubt in my mind that she is going to. I would say there's no doubt in my mind that she's going to marry on a specific day, on a specific date and time. If it was 4:00 in the morning, she would do it. I mean, look, they're going to look for the best time as it relates to their life as well, like obviously.
Yeah.
But and sometimes you can't get up at whatever 4:20 in the morning.
I would.
I
would. I mean, like I'm totally into this stuff. I've always been superstitious. And this just gave me like a really easy way to express that. So yeah, I would definitely wake up at like 4 a.m. to catch an election.
I love the idea that she got married. I mean, as somebody who loves astrology so much, I love the idea that she might, I want her to, and I have to believe that she does, but I want her to be into astrology because I think I really truly believe that astrology is a point of elevation once embraced. Like, it doesn't matter who it is. It's you level up with it when you get into it. And it's not like leveling you up like in the same way that a religion might try to like invoke some kind of idea of your indoctrination and that leading to some kind of, deal with heaven and whatever.
I immediately thought of Scientology, where they're like, they don't even tell you what the hell it's all about until you've paid like $100,000.
And you've leveled up.
Yeah.
I'm talking about like, I feel like, you gain a level of understanding around you that gives you just a lot more than you had prior to not knowing,
There's that really famous quote about astrology that is attributed to J.P. Morgan, but I don't think that it's true that he said it. But anyway, they said, whoever it was said that millionaires don't use astrology, billionaires do. And I think that this is true. I think a lot of the people that are using numerology and are consultants for numerology and astrology, they talk about how they have really, really wealthy clients. So I don't think that the wealthy people, I don't think that the elite class is doing it themselves. I don't think they can apply themselves to learning it themselves. What they're doing is finding the best astrologers, best numerologists, best whatever people out there and hiring them to consult.
Yeah, I think you're right. And I know this in terms of my life and my experience. I know that if you embrace astrology or you use it in any way in terms of like even working with astrologers and so on and so forth, if you take advantage of any of these things, you're gonna have a better chance at achieving whatever goal you're after. It's just that simple. And it doesn't.
There's something to be said for.
Go ahead.
Sorry, there's something to be said for intentionality too. Like even if I don't know, man. Like maybe it's a little too woo woo, but like even if it doesn't work, just the fact that you believe and you're putting your effort into something, some sort of deliberate focus and your belief that something will work, I think that has a way of making it work. I mean, not all the time, obviously, because shit doesn't pan out and bad things happen, whatever, But like I feel like there's a lot of evidence that supports that if you have a belief in something happening, that you're at least more keen to the opportunities that come as a result of it, so you're better able to exploit it.
Yeah.
And I feel like even if astrology is fucking fake, like at least it gives people that idea that they can tune into something, that they can watch for things, that they can like better witness the opportunities when they come. I don't know.
Yeah.
I feel like I definitely felt the nice astrology today. Didn't it feel kind of smooth?
Today was fine.
It was like not an anxious day.
Yeah, it wasn't an anxious day. I mean, I'm always battling headaches, or every other day I'm battling headaches, and today was.
Oh yeah.
I was getting roughed up by headaches today. I think there's like
Are you feeling better?
I think there's a lot of pollen going on right now.
Oh yeah, a ton. I'm sneezing all over.
So I just think I'm getting affected that way. I don't know what's going on with my stupid head. It's breaking. That's why I wear a hat, by the way. Every night you guys are, like sometimes I pull it down low, and it's just to.
For the light?
Yeah, just to like, not pound my eyes for too long and too hard.
Yeah, you have these pretty blue eyes.
Pretty blue eyes.
It's probably hard to keep the light out of them. You got to get yourself some dark brown eyes like these.
It's nice to see Conley DiCaprio. She's been, in finals and just not been around much.
Yeah, congratulations
I've been missing her.
Graduating. That's dope.
New
beginnings.
So excited for you now. The life begins.
Mm-hmm. I love new beginnings.
Yeah, they're super fun. What were we talking about earlier about like who was talking about like the embracing of that, like the whole unknown and
Terrence McKenna
jumping into the void only to find
Terrence
out that
McKenna.
you're landing on a fucking
He's a
bed made of pillows.
He's a drug head though.
A bed of feathers.
He said you can jump
He's
into
a drug head?
He's a drug head.
What is a drug head?
Terrence McKenna. He uses like drugs.
I know we use some old people speak sometimes just for fun. Is that what that is? Drug head? You're a drug head. I remember I was at my in-laws' house, and I was with my sister-in-law and my brother-in-law up in their bedroom, and one of them lit up a fucking joint or something like that. And so we were smoking weed, and I was totally nervous because like her mom was downstairs.
How old were you?
Well, I was married to her daughter, but but
the in-laws.
I'm with the kids, the kids are still living at home, They're like whatever, 19 and 22 or whatever the fuck, I don't even know what it was. And we're smoking some weed. I was 28. So anyway, we're smoking some weed. And of course, I'm all fucking paranoid. Like back when I was a kid, smoking weed at my friend's house. I'm just totally fucking paranoid. And sure enough, up comes my future mother, or I guess she was either my future mother-in-law or just my mother-in-law, whatever it was. She opens the door. It's Cheech and Chong, She opens the door and fucking big bellow of smoke rolls out and hits her in the face, She like gets in this, she's like a little round Italian woman and her whole face just fell into a squint, The entire face was just squinting. And she just looked at everybody and then looked at me and like, oh, somehow it's her kids.
But you're the one responsible.
But I'm the fucking one who's the real bad guy here. I'm at her house in their room. All the things are obvious. I just got off a plane to see them. But it
must have been you.
But yeah, the look at me was all me. And she says, oh, I see. We're having a pot party. Oh, fuck. And my sister-in-law, who was like 19 at the time, straight out busted out laughing. She just straight out busted out laughing.
Of course.
Oh, real funny, Reen. Her mom screamed back, real funny. And then, the sad story behind that actually is that my brother-in-law, he had a really promising, potential free ride football, career, but he got caught with weed. And they threw it all away on him for catching him with weed.
I can't believe that happens.
Yeah, he was like a shoe-in to go to Temple and play for Temple, and all because he got busted with a couple of joints. He had a couple of joints.
It's really crazy because it's not like it's a performance-enhancing drug. So you can imagine if you got your athlete sober, then they would do even better.
It's now legal.
Yeah, I know.
In the state that did that to him, that took away his dream, basically.
Horrible.
Yeah, and he went from like football guy who smoked some weed to straight up weed smoking, fucking party dude.
Anyway, here's the quote that you were talking about earlier.
Yeah, okay.
Terrence McKenna, he says, this is a very famous quote of his. Nature loves courage. You make the commitment and nature will respond to that commitment by removing impossible obstacles. Dream the impossible dream and the world will not grind you under, it will lift you up. This is the trick. This is what all these teachers and philosophers who really counted, who really touched the alchemical gold, this is what they understood. This is the shamanic dance in the waterfall.
Shamanic.
This is how magic is done, by hurling yourself into the abyss and discovering it's a feather bed.
It's a feather bed. Our Cavo's got to go already. Oh, no. Okay, bye.
Goodbye. He's known for his books on psychedelics because he's a drug head.
I bored a Carvel raccoon to the point of leaving.
That's it. I'm out.
She was like, I'm not going to listen to your in-law stories, buddy. I got things to do. Why do you think life is that uninteresting?
I have an interesting story.
Please share.
I don't, I'm very eager for the time where we can absolutely forget that Marjorie Taylor Greene exists as a person in the world, Yeah,
no, she's had a despicable run, in my opinion.
Yeah, I know, but this is actually so strange. So she is now promoting, she was on social media. She says, TMZ said, exclusive, Marjorie Taylor Greene is trying to get ahead of Father Time, telling TMZ that she and her fiance, Brian Glenn, are in Mexico receiving stem cell treatments aimed at fighting aging and promoting long-term health. And she's just like, she made a social media video. She's like sitting in a chair, getting her arm hooked up to whatever, like the phlebotomist or something is working on her arm while she's talking about how happy she is to be getting stem cell treatments in Mexico. And everybody was rushing to remind everyone that in April of 2021, Marjorie Taylor Greene was one of just 2 House lawmakers who opposed stem cell and bone marrow transplant bill. And so she's like, oh, it's cool. I hate Mexicans. I'm always talking about how much I hate Mexicans.
Keep them out.
But I'm going to go to Mexico and
rotten criminals
and get the health care that we deliberately prohibited Americans from getting. Can you believe these people?
It's like Ted Cruz in the fucking when the with the freeze in Texas and he split to fucking Mexico for a vacation.
I know.
It was like perfect time for Cancun.
Yeah. This person retweeted this. Said they hate it for us peasants with actual medical conditions. What they want is just playtime for the rich people. And so I went and I looked. Do you remember this whole stem cell controversy with Justin Baldoni?
No.
You don't?
No.
Okay, so I'm delighted I get to tell you about this. Okay.
Is this with his spinal injury?
Yes.
Yeah, well, I know this.
Oh, okay, cool. So Justin...
Did he do that in Mexico?
Yes. Justin Baldoni went to like Cabo and he did some... He made a deal that if he promotes this guy, Dr. Khan, which is amazing. It's obviously spelled K-A-H-N or whatever.
Oh, so what? You know, I mean...
I know. So he said that if I promote him on social media, that he'll give me stem cell treatments for free. So Justin Baldoni apparently, he says, has a herniated disc in his back.
Yeah.
He used to be a high school, maybe even college athlete. I don't know, but whatever. He did a lot of
with that body.
He was an athlete and then he fucked up his body somehow. But anyway, this came up in all of the court documents with the Lively v. Baldoni case because he was talking about why he had to ask her personal trainer behind her back about how much she was going to weigh. Because you see, Justin Baldoni's back is all fucked up from an injury. So he has to know in secret. He can't just ask Blake Lively how much she's going to weigh.
It's just the most obvious thing.
He has to lift her,
every
so he
time
has
he
to
gets
ask in
talked
secret.
about, I sit here in just utter like amazement that not 100% of everybody sees that for what it is. Like, it just blows my mind that anybody can see that any other way.
Right. That he didn't just talk to her and be like, hey,
Yeah, no.
She's obviously
he has an injury. So the way that every reasonable-minded person on this earth, which I want everyone to be, every reasonable-minded person on this earth should be like, oh, you have an injured back. With that, you should probably not lift anything, certainly 100 pounds or more. It's probably lower, probably like 50 or 60 pounds if you have a herniated disc. There's no amount of 100 plus weight that's going to be friendly to a herniated disc. So it's that makes what he's saying complete garbage.
Especially since his defense for rewriting a bunch of other scenes was that he has artistic liberty to just rewrite scenes. So if he couldn't lift Blake Lively because he thought she was too heavy, why couldn't he just rewrite the scene so he doesn't lift her?
Yeah, but that's not even like, okay, so forget about that. Like, that's true. But even if he, as artist, he wants to lift and all this other stuff, if he can have
No, we're making two different points. I understand your point and I agree with it.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that there was a bunch of different ways that he could have gone about this, you know?
Well, because it had nothing to do with it.
No, I know. And he can't admit it.
Yeah, there's no solution to be found here. He was trying to find out her weight because he wanted to know where she was at under them clothes.
Okay, so here's the thing. So here I found all the old documents about...
Why did we get onto Baldoni and get me all upset again?
Because we were talking about Marjorie Taylor Greene going to fucking Mexico to get
because
stem cell treatments.
Stem cell.
And it might be because of Marjorie Taylor Greene, that Justin Baldoni couldn't get American stem cell treatments. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, maybe that's the trickle-down effect. Anyway, so I wanted to share this with you guys, some like blast from the past with this. He said, in May 22nd of 2024, Justin Baldoni said, just wanted to check in how things are going, to his publicist, saying, in Mexico getting stem cells and a nervous system reset, whatever the fuck that means.
That's true, man. Phil Bowman just said something to this. He goes like, that lively weight issue is 10 times worse when you factor in that Baldoni wanted a nursing mother
To lose weight. Yeah. Right.
By the way, just to answer Phil Bowman, it's so interesting, man. He said, hey, Dale, I wanted to check in with you about Rush because they started their tour last night in LA.
Oh, you can't change topics yet.
This is why LA, I'm going to do this. Okay, I'm going to get to this then. Hold tight.
Yeah, because I'm in the middle of this. Unless you just don't care and we're not talking about this anymore. Okay, then I found, so that was May whatever in 2024, but in June 7th, 2024, Stephanie Jones is talking shit about Baldoni with Jennifer Abel. He says he got stem cells in Cabo, so that's probably why he has an infection now. Stephanie Jones says, Jesus. Jennifer Abel says, yep. And Stephanie Jones says, idiot. Jennifer Abel says, who goes to Mexico for this? Stephanie Jones says, you don't get stem cells in Mexico. Like, what?
It's so funny because they just don't even know what they're talking about. They're this is like elitism on display here.
Jennifer Abel says, and then agrees to post about it so he gets it for free. Matthew Mitchell isn't entered the chat, says, when it's free for him, We know that he does the sketchiest shit to his body outside the U.S., but then says the reaction is due to stress. Because remember, he said that Blake Lively and Colleen Hoover were stressing him so much that stressing him out so much. That's why he got a spinal infection, and that's why he was in the hospital.
They gave me an infection during
Book Bonanza.
They
made me miss Book Bonanza.
Audacity of that
And Matthew
statement.
Mitchell says, no, baby boy, it's because you got a janky ass procedure by some strange ass doctor in Mexico. You get what you paid for. Okay, I'm done with my rant now, and I wish him a quick recovery. Then Jen Abel says, LOL, get it out here before he texts you. And then Stephanie Jones says, Matthew, I'm dying. Matthew Mitchell says, I just can't sometimes. He's truly his own worst enemy and self-saboteur. These are the people that are working for him, by the way. Talking this much shit.
I'm having a total flashback. I'm like, is the trial back on?
I know. I should stop. But anyway, he says this is August, when the controversy comes up and then Jennifer Abel is telling him about how there's someone who called TMZ to support you and say how much you were liked and how ridiculous Blake's claims are, but in turn shared that you had asked the trainer how much she weighed because you wanted to train to lift her, and also that she was making a big deal about the onset kiss. And then Justin Baldoni explains, if it becomes a thing, we can say my hospital infection was due to me getting stem cells in my herniated disc in my back because I was in so much discomfort. And you can point to my Instagram post about the stem cells results, and I'm going back to get it done for my herniated disc in my back. So here he is admitting that he knows exactly why the fuck he got an infection, and he's telling his publicist to use that story. So he's just, anyway, Marjorie Taylor Greene is going to get a fucking infection. And she's going to fucking deserve it because she's been bashing Mexicans, bashing abortion, which is where stem cells come from, by the way.
Well, I think it's, one should be careful not to bash Mexico by assuming that they have terrible services.
No, I wouldn't. But he says apparently the publicists were talking about how this Dr. Khan was like a super sketchy situation.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know
sure
what they would actually.
The
I wonder what they would actually know about stem cell, doctors in Mexico by default. But it just sounds to me like that. That just sounds like them, fucking. They sound like bigots. I have beside me a Fender Telecaster made in Mexico.
Yeah,
it is such a stunning piece of work. It's like one of the. It's basically as good as any American-made Fender I've ever played.
I don't bash Mexico. I'm saying Marjorie Taylor Greene has been bashing Mexico for, forever. Like you can't boogeyman a country and then go and seek their medical services.
Yeah.
It's just really, the hypocrisy is amazing. And so I just thought this was interesting. And it reminded me of Baldoni and how he wanted to, reverse blame.
The only political news I got is that the forecast might call for thunderstorms for the UFC Freedom 250 at the White House.
Oh my God, the UFC fight might get thunderstormed out.
Wouldn't that be fucking great?
Yes.
How much would that be?
It would be really great if all of this was for nothing.
They did all of this. They built that thing on the fucking lawn. They did it all.
Smited.
And the birthday goes right by. Sorry, dude. There's fucking lightning clouds on top of us. And this is a big, giant lightning rod. We can't do this.
Dana White would just as soon put his workers out there to be fucking killed by lightning fire,
Well, maybe.
Fucking asshole.
And also, apparently, I already covered this, that celebrities are tapping out of even going to the event.
Oh, of course.
Dana White invited all this, all these huge people, whatever, and they're like, I'm going to pass.
Oh, it was also really telling. So Spencer Pratt, who was running for LA mayor with absolutely no experience whatsoever.
Oh, yeah, I read this.
So he's out of the race. And so somebody was like...
Trump had a tantrum about it.
Let us just remind everybody who was endorsing Spencer Pratt. And it was a lot of it was a bunch of the usual suspects, including Joe Rogan, who doesn't even live in Los Angeles. Why is he weighing in Donald Trump too?
Yeah, well, because they're trying to take over the world.
But there were a few surprising names. I guess...
Winona Ryder.
Well, Dennis Quaid, I guess, is full MAGA. Dennis Quaid is MAGA now?
Oh, he has been for a long time.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought he was just doing faith-based movies and stuff because...
No, he's there.
For the paycheck.
He's there. He's squawking.
Also, Selma Blair, I was very surprised to see on the list.
That's too bad.
I know.
I'll always have the memory of Selma Blair.
Oh, yeah? What's your memory of Selma Blair?
Oh, I thought she was really an intriguing force.
Yeah. I know. She was such an inspiration to all of us brooding girls.
Yeah,
you know?
she was like the
moody brunette,
like the
weird
90s
kids.
Ali Sheedy.
Yes, it's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, not anymore.
It's amazing how like Hollywood always keeps its types.
Yeah.
Ali Sheedy, that character, which, obviously was written so impeccably well by what's his face, who died.
When I wanted to be a model or an actress or whatever,
Yeah.
I was probably never going to be an actress.
An entertainer.
Yes, but you're forced to sort of figure out what your type is so that you can take pictures that look like that type.
Yeah.
So you can get cast as that type. And all of the types that are like me are like 50 pounds lighter, and I was like, this isn't going to work. I'm gonna have to be really
tall.
Skinny.
Yeah, you got to be like Boney.
Yeah.
Got to take it all off.
Can't do it.
That's not fun.
I enjoy baked goods too much for this.
Sorry, I'll have the butter. Thank you.
All right.
Yeah, I got that too. He fell to third behind Nithya Raman.
So what was it you were going to say that I cut you off because I wanted to continue talking about this bullshit?
Oh yeah, so Phil Bombing talked about Rush kicked off their tour in LA, which is so awesome.
Oh yeah, didn't they like call out Tom Steyer? Like they endorsed a governor candidate?
I don't know. Is that true?
I think
you guys
so.
are all seeing Rush headlines and I'm not. You're seeing Rush fucking headlines and I'm not. I don't know how they're not on my feed. I listen to them on a regular basis. I have them saved up on my Reddit in my Reddit profile. Some live performances and stuff. There was this one with it was with Rusty drumming. It's an insane. I think they did Working Man. It's insane.
Maybe somebody was joking. Rush concert. They did a concert, right?
They did This is why it sucks. LA sucks, bro. People start their tours in LA, and guess what? They're not warmed up. They don't have like the tour doesn't even have an identity at that point, and the identity comes from all the different people working together, some old, some new. But this is a very notable kickoff because
oh my God,
they got a new drummer.
Somebody was making a joke about Tom Sawyer because his name's Tom Steyer.
Well, we're gonna move on from the joke.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Today's
I
Tom
thought that
Steyer.
they actually did that because you know how concerts, they'll do that. They'll just like bring out whoever they want. Fuck. So stupid. I fell for it.
So the reviews have been very positive, especially regarding Geddy Lee's voice, because he got some voice coaching. Yeah, he does sound much better. He's able to hit some of those high notes again, which is kind of fun.
Why did he need voice coaching?
Well, because he's got a challenged voice. He always has his voice.
Oh, just
he used to
from
be
aging?
like in the early albums.
I thought he might have been injured or something. Like
No, it
sometimes.
was just about trying to get kind of. They wanted to do some of that older stuff with Rusty and off that first record.
When he was like
And even like
pubescent?
and even like early Neil Peart, like the Fly By Night and stuff. So yeah, amazing. Anyway, I'm glad to hear that this is also with the new drummer, right? Obviously, because Neil Peart has passed on. It's the saddest thing ever. Wish it never happened. Fucking injustice. Him and Gord. What the fuck? And so her name is Anika. Is it Niles?
A girl drummer.
Yeah.
Nice.
She's super badass. But the cool thing about it is, Geddy Lee was saying about auditioning drummers. I read this thing where he was saying like, it became insulting how people were coming in and trying to imitate Neil Peart. He's like, it got to the point where it was like, this is insulting. And
why?
And I'm probably putting words. Let me finish this. Let me just add to this because I don't want to give the wrong impression entirely. I'm probably putting some words in Geddy Lee's mouth there. I'm just saying like the sentiment I got from the article I read was that he was like, at one point he was like, at what point do you as a drummer recognize that he's untouchable in every possible way?
Yeah, but
and give us something that you're bringing as a drummer and not what Neil Peart did as a drummer.
Yeah, but
I think he was like, what he said was
he's supposed to be
imitating.
playing,
he was like, everybody was coming in here and imitating Neil Peart.
But are they writing new music or are they playing the old music that Neil Peart played on? Because it seems like a weird criticism when you're trying to bring a drummer on to replace the drummer playing the songs that he wrote. You don't want somebody to imitate?
He didn't, apparently.
Weird.
Yeah. I love what he's saying.
Because you think the fans like don't want to hear Neil Peart's drumming?
I love what he's saying. You know what? This harkens back to a Tom Waits interview I read. I don't even know fucking how long ago it was, But he was talking about how in his early records, he was just imitating people.
Yeah.
And he was like,
and that's evident.
And he met his wife, whose name escapes me, but they were like, like they had this deep connection, and she was like basically this sort of inspiration behind him discovering who he is and leaving behind his blues and jazz inspirations and letting them sort of just live and abide in him while he gives the world Tom Waits. And then we got, Rain Dogs, and the rest is history, right? So, so what Geddy Lee is saying is a real thing in art, especially when it comes to, and I think he was saying this about art. He was like, I think there's like a conversation you can have about it, about how artists are often imitators. I work with writers often, and when I do, I guess I haven't in a while, but I used to work with writers quite a bit, and when I did, they were I would get a lot of writers who were coming in, and I could tell on the page who they were trying to be. I was even critical of Doug Liman's debut with Swingers, because I was like, why would you? He did, if you recall, he did a tribute shot to Reservoir Dogs.
Yes.
In Swingers.
Yeah.
And it's like they couldn't be like more different as films in general, just in speaking in general.
No, and they were like 2 years apart.
And they were 2 years apart. I was like, you can't do that.
I know, it was really weird.
Reservoir Dogs is like just right around the corner.
That's actually one of my biggest pet peeves with writing in
Doug
TV.
Liman's one of the biggest fucking guys ever. Those guys are success beyond fucking success.
No, but it'll really sort of like ruin the voyeurism of an immersive experience, right? Like one of the things that I hate so much, it's like a huge pet peeve in writing on TV and movies, is when they'll make a reference and then they'll cite the reference. Like it'll be two characters who like make a pop culture reference, which is kind of annoying already. But then if the writer is insecure about whether you'll actually get it, or he wants like a cookie for having a really obscure reference, he'll just have the other character say like, "Ooh, that's a so-and-so reference. Nice." They do that a ton in the fucking second season, probably the first two, of Your Friends and Neighbors. They did it like twice in just like 3 shows. I was like, what is this? Like, okay, congrats, you watch movies. Like, like he made a reference to some dialogue, and the other guy the writer had the other guy state it. Like as if it was like a fucking quote, and then the other guy cited the quote. It was so stupid.
Feldbloming's adding some clarity. He said that Geddy Lee was talking about how after he died, drummers who weren't even friends of the band were throwing their hat in to replace him.
Drummers who weren't friends of the band.
Who weren't even friends of the band were like, "Hey, yo, dude, I mean, I hear you guys need a drummer."
Yeah, but is that bad?
Well, I guess the context of it is that he found that offensive because they hadn't grieved, and they hadn't asked for people to come forward to, like it's the band's prerogative to continue.
He's
or
like,
not.
the guy's
Led Zeppelin was over after John Bonham died.
Yeah, they're
it
like,
was a wrap.
He's like, the guy's not even cold. Like, what the fuck? Why would you? Yeah, I can imagine being irritated by that. But it is.
Connie DeCaprio's like, was Doug Liman also the judge for Beldoni? No, but his brother was. That was his brother.
What's his brother's name? Judge. First name Judge.
Wasn't it a B?
Judge Lyman.
Brian? No. It was Judge...
Lewis?
Yes. Lewis Lyman.
Is it Lewis?
Yeah. Lewis Lyman. Kind of a...
Doug and Lewis.
Doug and Lewis.
That's like born in the 1960s.
Yeah. Lewis. Yeah, I think you're right. I think it's Lewis Lyman.
I can't remember.
But that's Doug Lyman's brother. So... what else have we got? We got one more thing.
Oh yeah, we were going to talk about apparently the production designer for Obsession.
Oh, okay. So first of all, before you start, has anyone here seen Obsession?
I have not.
This is the problem with us, is that I would have seen. I wish we weren't burdened by COVID-19, and
I wish that we lived closer to a drive-in.
I'd love
because
to go
there's
see
one in
movies
Atlanta we
again.
could drive like an hour and a half to go see, but and maybe we should one day.
Oh, somebody's asking if me and Leo squashed the beef. I'm I'm not sure what you mean by that exactly.
I mean, it's up to him.
No.
He wants to fucking make it right. He can. I mean, it's not like he doesn't have the resources.
Yeah, I mean, as far as the beef goes, like, fuck. I'm this guy screaming from mountaintops, and Leo's just going about his life and flicking me off like a bug on a horse's back. But like, we're not friends now, and we're also not. Like, I'm still pissed. I'm not pissed, actually. I'm not pissed. It's so weird to articulate the way I feel right now. The way I feel right now about it is Don's Poem should be able to be released, and the people who worked on it should reap the rewards, all of them, from recognition to any whatever could be left on the rib bones of the movie financially. They
deserved it, right? They worked so hard on that movie, and they did a fucking great job. That's actually a really good segue to the topic that we were going to bring up.
Oh, Kylie DiCaprio is in all caps at the moment. I saw Obsession. It was so good. Please go watch it. You'll have such a good time.
I know. I want to.
Yeah, Jerry Metters, he said it was brilliant. And he saw it on opening weekend.
I want to see backgrounds.
You know what he also said? He also said that Michael Jackson, or whatever that movie was called, was one of the greatest cinematic experiences he's ever had.
Excuse me?
Yeah.
I feel like for those biography movies, like,
he said the audience in LA just celebrated the movie.
I feel like for those biography movies that the bar is like on the floor. Like Bohemian Rhapsody looked so bad.
Well, we haven't seen it though, so we don't know. It got nominated and people really like it. So
every clip I saw though, I was like, this cannot be.
I used to be addicted to them as a kid.
What?
Biographies.
Biography movies.
Yeah, biopics. I used to watch, like, I loved like the Jan and Dean story. If you ever saw that, it's just like, oh my God. Yeah, anything I could get my hands on, James Dean, I'll just watch it all. I used to love anything and everything to do.
Ham and Tommy.
But as I got older, I just didn't. I lost interest in them entirely. Like, I don't have any interest in biopics, which is weird because, like, when what's his name, Leaf, Joaquin Phoenix. Mm-hmm. When Joaquin Phoenix played Johnny Cash, for example, I was like, I'm just not interested. I think I started it's weird because like Denzel Washington in Malcolm X, like one of the greatest films I ever saw. Like, I can't recommend that movie enough.
Here's my problem with those movies.
Get your hand in my pocket.
They're set in a time, but if I'm watching like a Johnny Cash movie, I'm expecting it to look like Coal Miner's Daughter. Yeah. I'm expecting it to look like Sugarland Express.
Yeah.
I'm expecting it to look like it belongs in the time. But what they keep doing is these music, these music icon bio movies, and they look super polished. Like this last one. We saw that documentary for Thunder and Lightning. What was that one called?
Yeah.
Song Sung Blue. Yeah, the documentary.
Yeah, the documentary.
And these people,
it's named the same as the feature
These
film.
people are like poor. They're working class. They live in middle America. They're like,
they're on the edge of poor. I think they're like they were housed, and they had.
Yeah, but like they just had like she wore a ton of hairspray, and then like had. Like their show outfits were like basically a vest with a bunch of sequins on it.
A lot of wieners and day-old bread.
Yeah, exactly. But the show outfits that they wore for their performances, like their performance gear, was like a vest with a bunch of sequins on it. And like sometimes they'd wear like American flag sequin shit. But it was like 1980s. That was like what you would wear when you're trying to perform. Like, do you remember the fucking like leotards kids would wear for their like school recitals? It was all just like
in the 80s?
Yeah, it was like crusty, sharp sequins like all over. Super uncomfortable. So then you watch the movie that the Hollywood made of Song Sung Blue about these people, and they're in like perfectly tailored like.
No, they look like big stars.
Like studio lot costuming.
Yeah.
Like there's no way that these working class people would put that together for themselves for their, like everything's impeccable. Not a strand out of place. You can't do that. And that's why movies like that just take me out. Cause I'm like, everybody looks too perfect. Why is everybody's teeth straight? Like none of the people that you're telling the story about had straight teeth, Did
you see, what was it called with Joaquin Phoenix? Do you remember?
Walk the Line.
Walk the Line.
I did see it.
Did you see it? Did you like it?
No, I didn't, because it looks fake.
You know who I loved? You know which biopic I loved and that I couldn't recommend enough and everyone in the world should see? It's so fucking fantastic. Coal Miner's Daughter.
Yeah, that's why I mentioned it, because it's so it just, I don't know at what point Hollywood decided shit doesn't have to look real anymore, and that we actually don't want to look at. I think one of the most charming things that Hollywood does is exalt the everyday life experiences of working class people, right? Like
It's one thing, but yes.
Just by making films from regular people's lives, it makes it all so important, even though it's like mundane and everyday. And I think that's one of the biggest gifts that movies give to people, is to see themselves on the silver screen, you know? I mean, obviously I'm thinking of like Deer Hunter, but you know, it's obviously like, that's like a horror movie. So not the same genre that I'm talking about, but
I'm so bad at, is it Guava Island Boy? I think that says Guava Island Boy. I'm bad at reading handles. Guava Island Boy said that they saw Dawn's Plum and it was a great watch.
Oh, fantastic.
It's the greatest feeling ever. I made the movie in 1995, and that people like watch it, you know, like it's a great watch is like such a fucking phenomenal experience. So I'm so glad you enjoyed it. That's great. If you want to enjoy another awesome accompaniment to it, you should check out the book behind me. It's Too Real, a Hollywood Memoir. And you can read it for free on Kindle Unlimited. And they actually have a really great, like, month-long free trial. And Kindle Unlimited, you know, they'll pay me a couple bucks for people who read the book. But it's a great way to read the book for free. You can also buy the book, of course. You can go to freedomsplum.com and I'll sign a copy if it's something that you would want. But you know, if you want to have if you want to like watch, if you want to read a book that brings you all the way back, not just to the movie, but the time in which we made the movie and the making of the movie itself, and the whole undoing of Dawn's Plum and the actually, the book is a perfect answer to your question about whether or not, you know, we've buried the hatchet.
And the answer is no.
I saw Pressure last night, said Phil Bombing. Acting was great. Plenty of tense moments. World War II buffs will enjoy it. But again, Hollywood totally forgot that British and Canadian troops stormed the beaches too.
Yeah, they do that on purpose.
Well, especially now.
Because America has to be the greatest nation on the planet, right?
Yeah, Canada gets left out of all the fucking conversations. We're just like that we're like the cousin that
dude,
like nobody...
You're better off, dude. I mean, you know, you got to avoid the oligarchy that way. You got to fly low, man.
Well, I was asking if I see any of those guys still. I don't see any. I mean, I talked to RD on occasion. He directed the movie. But I saw, last time I saw Scott Bloom was like 2012. Didn't go well at all. For example, Scott Bloom. I haven't seen Leo in, I don't even know. The last thing I remember seeing, last time I remember seeing Leo that wasn't in a legal setting, I was at a club in New York. Well, where we actually like acknowledged each other. I was at a club in New York and he bit his thumb at me. He saw me and he bit his thumb at me. And I was like,
wait, what do you mean? He did?
No, he didn't, but he bit his fist. And then I yelled at him that he should be biting his thumb because he just did Shakespeare. He bit his fist at me.
And you're like, that's not it, man.
It's your thumb, Leo. You're supposed to bite your thumb. You're supposed to go like this.
That's like if somebody flips you off and they're like, you're like, that's not it, man. It's the middle finger.
That was the last time I remember seeing Leo. I saw him like in somewhere 2010s at some like elite restaurant in LA that I had a meeting in. But we didn't see each other. Like, he didn't see me and I fucking avoided him like the plague. Which is stupid of me. I'm never going to do that again. If I'm ever in the room with him again, I'm going to be like, the fuck's up, dick?
All right. So did you want to talk about Obsession, or would you like to talk about something else instead?
So here's the scoop with Obsession. So Obsession was a movie made for $750,000. And it is a box office smash hit. I think it's over 200 million at this point. Or what is it, 119 million? What is it?
I think it's projected to 250 million.
Obsession box office. 250?
Mm-hmm.
It has grossed $224 million thus far. It was made for $750,000. Here's the thing that I learned though today that I didn't know earlier was that the acquisition for it was a huge one. It was 15 million. So they'd already more than 15 times the budget in.
I think there was a bidding war. I don't know.
Clearly there was.
Who put it out? Because I think that...
did Focus?
I think Jason Blum wanted it.
Focus put it out.
Yeah, okay. That's interesting. So, you were saying?
So, it's grossed $224 million. Mm-hmm. It was made for $750,000. It was about a 20-day shoot, and they paid like sort of union minimums, you know. Mm-hmm. So the art director is coming out and speaking out about how why aren't the crew experiencing any of this wealth that has been bestowed to this movie. I mean, this movie is just it's like beyond unbelievable. It's unfathomable that this has happened. I mean, this is such a rare thing. And so and you know, maybe this guy's a genius and he's going to go on and be a genius forever, Mr. Curry Barker. But it's a great conversation. And the reason it's a great conversation is because there's a culture in Hollywood that really bothers me. And it bothered me back then. It bothers me right now as I sit here. And that is that you're lucky to be working with me. I'm the producer. And you're lucky. You're lucky I selected you.
Instead of the labor being the one who makes the value.
You are the one who needs to be grateful for giving me everything for nothing.
Right.
You should be grateful. Or you are the one who should be grateful to me because I am giving you $300 a day and giving you their union minimums. And some people will look at $300 a day and they'll be like, wow, that's pretty good pay. I mean, that's not nothing to, you know, sort of shake your nose at or whatever.
Yeah, but they're like 12-hour, 16-hour days.
Well, it's not even that. The crews don't work every day of the year at all. You know, they're lucky to get 3 or 4 or 5 movies, you know, so they're not, you know, so there are some people out there who are never or rarely out a day, but most crew they'll see weeks in between some jobs, especially if you're young and you're just getting started. Those are the years that are most difficult. And the thing about that is, like, you know, so everyone embraces the director who has their first film and it's amazing. You know, they shower that person in money. They shower that person in praise. They're just the greatest thing that ever happened. And underneath all of that, though, is this like entire crew, especially in a movie like Obsession, where a $750,000 budget, while very low, obviously very low, is a good enough budget where you're paying professionals. So the people on that set are professional to some degree, and it doesn't matter if they're just getting their start or not. That is not relevant, because the business that film is in, right, is we create a product, and then that product goes out to market. Yeah,
and it's also like overnight success is something that's praised, not something that people ever like. There's no gatekeeping about that, you know? Like if you're brand new and you succeed, then it doesn't matter how inexperienced you are.
Well, and inexperience doesn't matter to success. Like inexperience isn't relevant to success. Success is success in and of itself. It does not care. It has no interest in one's experience. The most successful people can fail, and the most, inexperienced people can succeed. And this is a truth. And success in film means that in most cases, in many cases, especially in these lower budget films, but certainly in these films that are over $500,000, where you're basically paying the crew and you're working with a stripped down schedule, which is what they had. They had 20 days. It's exactly the same amount of days I put together for $750,000 for my movie that didn't make any money in the box office, right? And this is the thing, like, you know, every time you hire somebody to work on a film and they like the script and they're like going to go with it, and then it's got this prospect for money or whatever exposure, you're hedging your bet as well as a worker, especially if there's potential for other jobs. But before I go on too long here about this one thing, this film was created by all the people who helped put all the little parts together and make it the success it is, right? It doesn't matter if it was orchestrated by Mr. Barker, right? It doesn't matter if it was produced by some guy, whoever, whatever, the writer. All these people are all obviously significant and important players. But the idea that that this art director, and this is the debate, is that this was her second movie. She, by the way, just to put in context, she came out and she said, hey, this is bullshit. I made $7,000 on this movie. This movie is making fucking hundreds of millions of dollars and we're not seeing a dime.
She's like, so above the line gets a windfall, but we don't get a bonus check?
They get a windfall.
Yeah.
Like a straight up windfall. Like
Can we get a bonus check?
And 100%, like if there was a bidding war, they have a huge back end on top of the $15 million MG. They call it a minimum guarantee, an MG. So they got a $15 million MG, 15x. So there should have already been bonus checks going out right there. The problem in Hollywood is this mentality that you're lucky to be working for me. And it's a kind of, it's a rotten mentality. I won't tell you who, because it would, because I just don't feel inclined to gossip. But I remember sitting through a dinner with some really fucking important people in the business, you know?
That was when you were meeting with a bunch of...
We were being courted by many distributors who wanted to buy Don's Plum.
Yeah.
And one of those distributors took us out to a very fancy meal with a bunch of their team and all of us. And one of the I sat there for what was probably a 2 to 3 hour meal and, you know, social moment, while this executive basically ridiculed and embarrassed his assistant who was new for the entire 3 hours.
The entire time?
Making her like repeat back what he said when he said it.
That's like psychopathy.
Like in front of like a whole bunch of people, many of whom would have been considered important and well established.
What was their reaction?
I'm not going to comment on people's reactions that I don't know. I can tell you that I was shocked.
Was everybody as appalled as you were?
I have no idea. I can't. That's what I'm saying. Like I'm not going to speculate, but I was appalled. Like I was just sitting there going,
nobody
wow,
said anything.
I was looking at her, and I mean, you know, my ex and I, or my ex was there, and she was mortified when we left. She was like, "Wow, he just treated her like a dog," and I was like, "You wouldn't treat a dog that way." Like it was that bad. Mm-hmm. You know, it was like you know, like when you heard about Tobey Maguire, you know, giving Molly Bloom $1,000 chip, or trying to bait Molly Bloom with $1,000 chip to jump on the table and bark like a seal. You know, this kind of domineering sort of.
And like, what kind of person even comes up with that? You know what I mean?
So Hollywood has this, yeah.
Like, who even fucking thinks that way?
I don't want to digress into this, but Hollywood has this like fucking culture, or had it, and maybe it still does, where there's this sort of, where subordinates are just, you know, are dirt, and they have to rise out of the dirt. You know, they're beneath the dirt, and they have to rise out of the dirt. And then if they don't, well, fuck you. And so there's a sentiment. You can read it. You want to read it, and I'll just react to it?
Oh, okay. Yeah, cool. So this person posted on, it's user JVVJ.
So this person is posting in response to this woman's, you know, talking out. And by the way, I just want to, let me just before you begin, I'll just say that with Don's Plum, for example, everybody in Don's Plum had back end. Everybody had back end. It wouldn't have mattered if we got a $15 million MG out of Don's Plum, which we wouldn't have, but if we did, right? And that, by the way, is all the way to the producers. If we got a $15 million MG, minimum guarantee, then every single person who made Don's Plum would have gotten a portion of that, commensurate with their position and contribution. Mm-hmm. So above the line did get paid more, but not a whole lot more. So, for example, her contribution was as art director. And I believe that in my movie, if I got paid the same amount of money as them, probably with the bonuses, she'd be well into six figures for her earnings versus the $7,000 which she got. And she wouldn't she got a fair play, what I would consider to be a fair play.
And she wouldn't be complaining.
Yeah, so go ahead and tell us the story now, but that's the whole setup.
Okay, this is posted on Film Industry LA. This Reddit user, JVVJ.
Yeah.
VVVJ. Whatever. He makes a little like
whatever
dinosaur face with.
Thank you for your contribution to this.
I know,
planet.
It's cute. Okay, so apparently he thinks that Sally Choi who's the art director in Obsession, that she's off her ass. Okay.
Yeah.
So this is the argument against what she's claiming, or what she's complaining about. Sally Choi had one credit before Obsession.
Doesn't matter.
No one is talking about how Sally Choi, the art director on Obsession, who was putting the filmmakers on blast about her low pay, now that the film is achieving box office success, had only one film credit before this.
That doesn't matter. And by the way, low pay was relative to the moment.
Yes.
It was she didn't care about the low pay in the moment because it was commensurate to everybody else.
Exactly.
So she was like getting paid like everybody else. Everything was fair and square. She's talking about what's happening right now, which is not fair.
On a film no one has heard of by a relatively unknown first-time director.
So this guy was a first-time director.
Yes.
She was not even, so he had less experience than her.
Yes, this is the thing.
Yeah.
$300 a day on a low-budget indie film is really not that bad or unheard of for a young art director with only one credit.
Which is why she took the job.
Yes, of course. She got $7,000 for 20 days of work, which was close to 1% of the total budget. And I have seen so much worse in the indie film world, which is irrelevant.
Well, and not
If other
irrelevant.
people want to treat their employees like dirt, that doesn't matter. That doesn't mean that she should accept that.
Well,
right?
I like, first of all, just to like butt in on that. It's not about treating people like dirt. You make different kinds of deals.
but
If you have $50,000 for a budget,
by comparison, he's like, I've seen so much worse in the indie film world. Well, like, congratulations, I guess.
but it's all, well, first of all, he doesn't, I don't think know what he's talking about. But even if he did know what he was talking about, it's all relative to the budget and your opportunity. And so you make the opportunity work for you, or you don't make the opportunity work for you. But like, there's the idea, like, you can't, like, somebody's not a bad person because they only have $50,000 to spend.
Yes.
And they're not taking advantage of somebody who wants to be a part of something that they think could be special or whatever. All of that can be compensated for at a later date if there's a reasonable and equitable sharing policy that goes along with an independent film that requires so much for so little from their people.
Then he gets a little preachy. Okay. I thought this was interesting.
Preach.
He says, when you are early in your career, you take low-paying jobs on creative projects to build your credits, your portfolio, and connections with directors and producers.
Sure.
This eventually gets you to a place where you can start demanding higher rates and being more selective in the jobs you take.
Sure.
No one knew that Obsession was going to be this successful. Every film is a risk. The filmmakers and producers who invested $750,000 in making the film took a risk, and the studio who acquired it for $15 million took a risk.
Everybody who made that movie took a risk.
That's right. Sally and the crew were paid for their time and work. They didn't take any risk or choose to negotiate equity for little or no pay because they believed in its eventual success.
Now, listen, this guy's got a dimension. This of course, this person's got a demented, like, sort of point of view of the world. The world doesn't work like that. You know, you're trying to say that because she got paid a living wage, that she is somehow like
she should be
disqualified from the success of the movie beyond the pat on the head. You done good, little girl. This guy's got a garbage perspective.
I know, it seems a little superior.
It's a garbage perspective because that's not how the world fucking actually works, dude.
But he's not going to stop there because he wants.
It does because you greedy capitalists make it work that way. But
he's not going to stop there. This is so typical of this type. He's gonna tell you what he did.
Yeah, okay? You got to get a Youngian in here who can, like, give us the actual personality.
What this guy did, okay, is really what everybody should do. Okay, so check this out. On this Reddit post. When I was younger, I worked 16-hour days on projects for $0.
Oh, fucking congratulations.
Because, you idiot.
I'm sure your mantle is filled with the awards.
Because they were creative projects with directors I wanted to work with, and I knew it was low budget, and I believed in it. I also directed low-budget projects where the only way we could get them made was for people to work for little or no pay.
Okay, look, that happens all the time, and I agree. I've made little to no pay movies too, and they're really fun and inspiring.
I know.
Why does that disqualify people from back end?
He's like, I am happy to be exploited and to exploit other people, and that's why she should be too.
I think your perspective is wrong. Exploitation is not exploitation if somebody wants to enter into the agreement.
He's saying that other people should do it the way that he did.
No,
because he's fine with it.
What he's doing is he's describing, that's not what's happening here.
I'm not saying that it's bad or wrong. Okay, I understand that people are fine with this. I have also done work for people for free because I've enjoyed it. Okay, so you think
but that's not what's happening.
You think I'm contrarian to this position?
I'm not thinking anything. I'm just saying is that what he's doing is he's telling you that in the business, and he's not wrong, that in the business, right, when you're early in your career, you will work for free or for little to no money to build your resume and to build your relationships.
The point I'm making is that this is such boomer mentality where he's like, I do it this way. Everybody I know does it this way. Why is she trying to break away from the pack and actually get what she deserves from a huge success?
Well, I think the boomer mentality here is that he thinks that because you do that, you somehow then, are, because you have this opportunity, because you get these so-called benefits for your work, which I say so-called because you're there. It's a consequence. So it's actually consequences of your work, and those consequences being that you build a reputation, whatever that reputation might be. Another consequence might be that you show that you build relationships with somebody like a director or somebody else who might go on to become more and more successful as their career grows and opportunities come their way. But his fault isn't in those things. His fault is believing that because you're in a situation where you're new, like the first time director was, right?
Right.
That you somehow are disqualified from what, say, somebody who wasn't new would be entitled to if a movie succeeded. And why that's such garbage is because, for so many reasons, but one reason that comes to top of mind right now is because, it's not like they suffer when the film fails. Do you know what I mean? It's not like it doesn't go both ways in that respect. So it's a little bit nonsense.
But my favorite part about this dude, whoever this is that he's so snotty about it. He goes, okay, so the only way we could get them made was for people to work with little or no pay. But you know what happened?
Tell us.
So snotty, right? But you know what happened?
Go fuck yourself, Mr. fucking wise hierophant.
We all grew and our careers, we all grew our careers and eventually got more money for projects and called those people back who believed in us before and offered them more jobs for higher pay. And so many of the people that worked on my early projects used those credits and experience to work on much bigger budget projects and grow their careers.
Thanks for the fucking life lesson,
He says,
pal.
that's how this business works.
Oh, thanks for the fucking life lesson. Keep it, dude. None of that fucking matters. That's just how the business works. So what? Congratulations. You were there to observe how the business works. Like, that's how the business works. He's not wrong. Who gives a shit? What he keeps missing every fucking step of the way is participation in the work you do. Yeah. Like everybody, especially the artists, when you're dealing with art directors, you're dealing with directors of photography, you're dealing with all these people whom you couldn't pay or afford the upper echelon or whatever, but where you did the work and you found these people who are gold. Yeah. They're gold. Let me tell you what you do with that. You fucking shine it up. Yeah. You don't fucking pile rocks on it. You fucking shine it up. And what they should have done is have a back end. It's also just good business.
Like, I'm sorry, but everybody fucking knows whenever anybody, if you want to think about it like it's a business that you have to grow from the bottom up, like, okay, so you're an entrepreneur, I guess. What do entrepreneurs do is they buy the loyalty of the people who are working for them that help them build their business.
I can't even believe that
like
people...
So he's not even thinking about it like that. He's not thinking at it as if he's trying to cultivate something creative, and he's not thinking about it as if it's a business, because he just thinks that everybody should starve, and then hopefully it'll all work out if you all continue to support each other.
He's in that mode, in that space that I was just talking about earlier. That's fucking totally like, hey, you're lucky.
Yeah, exactly.
Because you work for me, you get experience. Oh, yeah, I know. That's not a consequence, bro. Fuck yourself. That's not a gift. That's a consequence.
Fuck yourself.
Fuck yourself, bro. I'm coming on this set and I am bringing my art. I'm bringing my ideas. I'm bringing myself, my soul. I'm putting that shit on the line for you. And I'm doing that because what? The same fucking reason the director's doing it. I believe in the project. I think it's a good opportunity. I believe we're going to make something special and beautiful here. The idea that these producers and this director didn't take care of their crew.
The idea that this film
is where the problem is.
The idea that this film could have been a success if she wasn't fucking awesome at her job. Imagine what would have happened if the art director fucking sucked. They never would have gotten that $15 million.
And the point you're making, by the way, is more broad than just saying, oh, please, they were, because I don't know the movie, but, oh, please, these were turnkey sets or, whatever it might be. Art directors who are not well disciplined, you'll see the work. Yeah. You'll see it. It'll be overly done or it'll be lacking desperately. I don't know, man. There's a terrible balance in there that you have to maintain.
Art direction is a really big deal.
I agree.
It's like super difficult to get it right. Okay.
I agree, because there's a balance there that has to coincide with the tension in the moment and the whatever. And there's a transformative element to it as well, because in a horror film and in these kinds of tense genres, we're shifting the energy usually from peace, right, to havoc, right? There's a lot of work and consideration in that, right? It's not like a ordinary people kind of movie where you're just talking through life and those sets are kind of almost stagnant and everything is being really experienced through character and drama.
Last thing he says, okay, where he makes this deliciously wonderful example of a false dichotomy. And I just, it's so remarkable when you see one of these in the wild because they're so transparently like thin reasoning that the person doesn't know it.
Yeah.
So he says, if film crew members started demanding back pay for films that are successful at the box office, or refusing to work for low budget indie wages even though they barely have any credits, then producers are going to be less likely to fund projects like Obsession and take risks. The crew accepting low wages was literally the only way it was able to get made, and Curry Barker is going to be getting a much bigger budget for his next film. Is he going to call Sally back to be the art director? I wonder. I mean, he probably fucking will because she succeeded.
Well, and and fuck you for implying that he might not, because Sally wants to be treated similarly.
Fairly,
similarly to the way he was treated since he was the guy coming with no experience. So it's this guy's perspective is a distorted and terrible perspective.
But
and it's the one that I hate. That prevails in Hollywood. I hate this perspective.
Yeah.
It's so...
This is the way things are done. And if you don't like the way things are done, then this isn't the right business for you.
Now, these guys are going to pull down a ridiculous amount of money, right? Like, these guys are going to become... They already got $15 million on the MG, which is just an unheard of amount of money. And then on top of the $15 million that they already got, which, of course, congratulations, man. How you're not sharing that with the people who got you there is just bizarre to me. It's a weird kind of way to... start your career. But I will tell you this, that if I was, I'm glad she's putting this siren out, because if she doesn't, but because she did, it could change potentially the way I might negotiate a deal with him. If I was a crew member, I'd be like, you know what? I want it all right now, bud. I want it all now. We're like, we'll give you some back end. Now, you know what? Maybe it was lightning in a bottle for you, buddy. Give me all the money now.
Here's somebody commented, again, this is the Reddit sub, Film Industry LA. This is Sean M. Harkalin responded. Said, it isn't about this particular movie or getting experience or even the rate, which, by the way, is one grocery trip more than a living wage per MIT. Because MIT figured all this out. He's like, that's not that much money.
It's not. It's just getting by money. But it's fair money in relative to the budget.
And if you live in a city like LA, like, you're swamped, bro.
No, come on. That's
so expensive.
But it's still fair money. I mean, that's fair money for that budget.
This guy says, I work low budget indie all the time, and I have received bonus checks when they sold particularly well. It should be standard for a windfall to be shared among the crew who made the film.
Get the fuck out of here, bro. I mean, this is the only... Well, first of all, like I said, I think that this makes she's throwing up a red flag on this guy. Whether she's intending to or not, this art director is throwing up a red flag on this guy, because it's like, dude, I'm so happy for his success. I really am. That he's not finding it, and they're not finding it their responsibility.
Yeah, or that they're not inspired to share the wealth.
That they're not inspired to share. Like, that all just
like, that's a little bit.
It sucks, because art director is such a big deal. Like, if PAs were coming out, I'd be like, okay, the PAs, they got paid, and
this is a really good point.
You get paid on.
You're making this point.
Yeah.
Sean M. Harkalin, whatever. This Reddit user says, yes, investors and distributors took a risk, but so did every crew member making a hiccup above minimum wage. They risked getting sick or injured and not being able to go to work, which would mean not being able to pay rent. $300 for a 12-hour day for 20 days with no benefits, no security, and no recourse should something go wrong.
Yeah, but risk this is where the dialogue's all wrong. This isn't about risk. They took the risk because they put in the money. Anything you invest in is a risk. We know that.
Yes.
That's just the inherent fucking value. They're also compensated far differently than the art director would have. The art director is not coming up and saying, I deserve an equal share with the investor. The art director is not saying, I deserve an equal share as the writer-creator of this fucking movie.
No, they're not.
The art director is saying, hey, you should be sharing the wealth.
Yes, so check this out. So this is silver linings.
It's a big
here, right?
fucking difference, right?
Sean comes back. This person was naysaying, and he came back and said, some indies do offer points, participation points, like you're saying.
Yeah.
But it is exceptionally rare. In fact, IATSE, that's the labor union for the film crew, they gave up their points and residuals for healthcare many years ago.
Yeah, well, what a horrible sellout that was.
But so check this out. So the filmmakers who made Sing Sing, which has just come on streaming, I remember the year that it came out, everybody said that it was crazy that it was snubbed from the Oscars. Anyway, Sing Sing filmmakers paid everyone on set the same, and now their new company wants to do it again. And this was from the Hollywood Reporter, that everybody got paid the same on the set of Sing Sing. It's dope. So I mean, it's certainly a choice. Like you can be a small
Well,
filmmaker.
also, just because you didn't get, just because when you initially made contracts with everyone that they didn't get a back end participation doesn't mean you can't give them one. It doesn't mean that at any point when you go and you get
They'll take
$15
your
million
money.
bucks, you can be like, whoa, let's call the crew in here and let's make a deal on them right now. Let's get everybody sorted because there's a windfall of money and success coming my way. And that's got to trickle down to the people. This is like a, this is a fucking important part of filmmaking, in my opinion. And what they're doing by not participating in that way. And look, calling that rare is because we have this mentality. And this is what I'm talking about. The problem with fucking Hollywood is that Hollywood has this, you're doing me a favor attitude about people working for them. Look, man, one of the biggest controversies in Hollywood fairly recently, about 10, 15 years ago, whatever it was this whole fucking intern fucking shakeup that happened. And I'll tell you that I worked at a production company where we had 10 people at this production company. We had 10 unpaid fucking we had 10 unpaid interns.
It was nuts.
People were creating assistants for themselves out of unpaid labor with interns.
No, there was like a whole slave trade happening in the industry in Hollywood.
And it was all predicated on this very same thing that this guy said about, I'm going to do you a favor and I'm going to let you sit around and listen to us have conversations about movie stars.
I remember that when this happened, a bunch of my friends, like I hung around with a bunch of like industry people in LA, even though I was never in it. And a bunch of those people, like everybody was too broke to work for free. So they would keep applying for these jobs to try to get into any of these places. And they kept getting dicked around where they would be like offered a job, but then they would rug pull them like after the interview and be like, yeah, you're great. Let's do it. You're hired. But it would just be a fucking internship and they wouldn't be forthright in the beginning. So what they do is they try to actually snare people that need the fucking money, So they'd interview people who were qualified for more than an internship and only offer them an internship until it got outlawed. So somebody in
well, it didn't just get outlawed, but I think it was Warner Brothers, but one of the
it was like a huge crackdown.
One of the major studios had to come up with like pony up tens and tens of millions of dollars.
Yes.
Because it got exposed, their books got exposed, and there was just literally like just an unbelievable amount of money that was just literally being stolen in labor from all these people who were just like working for free. Yeah. And it's like, and a lot of elitist like type people. Like I remember one of our interns was this woman who came from a very rich family. And so there was, this actually ended up becoming a conversation within the company at the time, because this is in like 2010s or whatever. And the conversation came up about this, like, paying interns problem, because it was right around the time when this started to get exposed in Hollywood. And so we were like, well, we should probably cut it around here, right? Was the conversation, in the company, like we should probably like cut out the unpaid internships. Well, this woman who comes from this very wealthy family, she was begging us to keep her on. She was like, you can't do this to me. And she didn't need or want money, but if she lost the internship, her dad was going to pull her out of LA. The whole predication of her existence, or her whole existence predicated on her having.
But this is one of those like.
So it's also like there's also that rich person.
Yes.
There's a lot of those.
No,
like I met a lot of these.
That's what
like,
they're designed for.
Son of, daughter of.
No, like let me tell you. So this is like part of the class war pipeline, where like you send your kid to Brown. And then your kid goes to Hollywood and he gets an internship.
He's a Brown.
Yeah, he gets an internship in one of these like huge fucking agencies or something because he's from Brown, right? But it's because you're on the highly educated intern track that you actually get in, where these people are gonna. It's almost like if you get to be one of these interns, like it's like a badge of like, this person has good breeding.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's one of these like rich kids, like you were talking about her. Rich kids get these intern opportunities because they don't need to work. Whereas friends like mine who were like working class and fucking broke and waiting tables and shit weren't getting the internships because they needed to get paid.
Well, her dad was
so the whole thing is like
her.
Yeah. So it's like, it's one of those things where like, if you can afford to pay for the country club, then you know everybody in the country club is part of your club.
Yeah.
Like if the family can afford to have an intern kid and have him work like hard labor, like long hour days, like
Whatever
slaving
it is,
away,
yeah.
getting treated like shit by that executive, you know, then you know that they're part of the club. And that's how the entire industry is built, by these like super highly connected, elite, wealthy people. Because it's like a doorway in, so that they're all in the same club, so that they're never ever do they have to be bothered with being surrounded by the pores. You get what I'm saying?
Bobo's here.
Like, this is how it works.
This is how it
And
works.
that's why the foundational structure of Hollywood is so fucking toxic, is because it's just all these like silver spoon people that don't actually know what real hard work and artistry is like. And meanwhile, all the creatives and the writers who have been like slaving away at the fucking like local coffee shops are like, why are these executives so dim? And it's because they don't know what real life is like.
Yeah, some of them don't. I mean, you know, like there are some great, our couples here, by the way. There are some great, a scientist is here.
Nice.
Our couple's not here. She had to split.
Oh.
She split when we were talking about, I forget what it was.
You interrupted yourself.
Well, I was asking if I would ever work with Leo again as the lead. Yeah.
Is that Leo actually asking these questions?
Yeah, sure.
Hey,
it would be so funny if
do you
Leo's
think
like,
you buried the hatchet
would you
with
ever
Leo?
work with me again? Because Martin Scorsese and I aren't getting along very well. I'd work with Leo, sure. Why not? I mean, the kid is worth loads of money, so I'd put everything aside.
He would have to do so much amends making.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of a ridiculous question, because it's like, not to insult you in any way, I appreciate the question. I'm just saying, like the hypothetical is ridiculous, because we'll never work together. We could never work together again. Oh my God, Shannon is here. That's so good to see you.
Oh, it's been so long.
Yeah, it's been a minute. Well, since we've seen her, she always hangs around in the replays and stuff.
That's wonderful.
So, but yeah, I mean, I'd probably work with Leo again. Like, I don't know. Obviously, there would have to be a whole bunch of like, fuck you, no, fuck you, bro. You should have said that, and well, you shouldn't have done that. And then we'll have our little moment of like reconciliation, and then yeah, I'd work with him for sure. Of course. First of all, the guy's an amazing talent, and you know, I've never once said otherwise. He's a brilliant fucking actor, and it was truly one of the best opportunities of my life to ever work with the guy. It was fucking amazing. Happiness is here. You guys are awesome. Well, it's good to see you too. You know, it's nice to know you're here. Sometimes you're looking at the numbers and you're like, oh, where are the other people? By the way, if you like the live. So yeah, there's a scenario where I would work with Leonardo DiCaprio again in some other fucking universe, but not in this one. It'll never happen. You know, Leo and I will never work together. Yeah, come on. He doesn't even respect me. I'm sure of it.
He seems like a jerk, dude.
I mean, if he read the book,
this
he'd
is
be
just
like, this guy's not bad.
This is just coming from somebody who read his deposition transcript, but seems like kind of an ass.
No, you watched his deposition. We had the videos. Yes. Do I have his transcript too?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because you were using it for your making your book thing, whatever. No offense to anyone here, but Hollywood people seem so mean. I don't know if anyone here is a Hollywood person, but
I think it's just that the stakes are so high, and there's a lot of people that get burned because the stakes are so high and it's so competitive. So they'll like get burned by a friend like early on in their whatever the fledgling career that you see them 20 years later and they're still jaded about it. I think that's why.
I think like anywhere else, there's mean people in Hollywood, but yes, you're right. I think because the stakes are so high, the meanness can be more prevalent, and also people can get away with it more. You know,
the betrayal.
Yeah, well, just also because like if it's coming down, like last night was the Tonys, and Scott Rudin won for the best play.
Yes.
But Scott Rudin wasn't there to accept it. Nobody even said his name.
That's right.
Because he has a reputation.
He's a persona non grata.
He's persona non grata. He did a lot of bad things in terms of the way in which he treated people. Again, this idea that the subordinate is a lesser being. Mm-hmm. And this is the problem, and you know that I think as I already went on ad nauseum at this point that about the mistreatment of subordinates. I think it's a problem in every industry, and it's particularly a problem when you get into management. It really doesn't matter. Like I remember I had this total like executive sales job where I was going and pitching like Fortune 500 CEOs and CFOs and shit like that, and doing all these like intricate fucking presentations and shit. It was hell. It was absolute hell. But
how early were your days?
How early were they?
Yeah.
Well, the days weren't so bad. It's kind of a casual life because it's like long deals, you know, like the deals were a year in making or
okay. So
6 months in making.
At least you didn't have to like.
No, I kind of lived this lifestyle very similar. I wake up and, you know, maybe by 10 I start working and, you know, but sometimes I might find myself working at 11 before I go to bed or whatever, you know what I mean? It was like that kind of a life. But, you know, in one of those instances, I was working for this .com startup. I had a really nice deal and sweet, you know, fucking ramp up deal. And it was a good gig on paper. And I spent my first year, and I had a year or two to build my book of business, where they were paying me really well to do it. And I put this deal together. I worked on this deal for over a year. So it was the largest deal. It ended up being the largest deal the company had ever, you know, had logged at that point. It was a $3 million deal for this advertising concept. And it was a huge deal. And I spent like over a year doing it. And this is a big .com startup. There was like 400 or so employees on the weekly call, where the CEO calls out success stories and so on and so forth. And this was all my deal. I mean, I put it together from prospect. Like I found them, I fucking courted them, I did test runs with them. I mean, I worked hard for a year on this deal. Got the deal, $3 million. And the fucking CEO on the call says, hey, and a big congratulations to Chris. That's my boss. I mean, he closed the biggest deal in our company's short history, or, you know, and I'm sitting there going, did you? You did you? It's the most unbelievable thing ever. And then I ended up getting an email from the CEO the next day saying, Chris said he forgot to mention that it was your deal.
Did he? That's cute.
Yeah, I'm trying to illustrate that this like kind of shit happens all the time, where the subordinate gets treated like shit, where they're taken advantage of or exploited, where they're literally stolen from. It happens in every industry. It's just that, yeah, you're right. In Hollywood, it gets real bad. You know, because again, there's so much at stake. Like, well, here, look, I mean, we have a $250 million success story right now unfolding, and that's just this theatrical run. It has a whole life after that, and then it has an innate value to it now. You know, it becomes like real estate, right? It's a property now worth a lot of money that people have to pay to rent, right? And I'm not talking about us consumers. I'm talking about streamers. I'm talking about other platforms all around this very, very global marketplace, right?
Yeah, is Netflix going to get it, or is HBO going to get it for streaming? You know,
big negotiations. I'm sure those deals are already in place, and there's probably some eyeball incentives again. And here's the other truth about film and the way in which film gets often negotiated in terms of the share. It has to do with success, right? You know, you heard about it. You know, Jack Nicholson was one of the first to do it, where he was playing the Joker and he was like, you know what, I'll take $3 million in the back end. And he ended up taking 15% of the gross, and he ended up making something like $60 million. And that changed the industry in that moment. In that fucking moment, actors were like, I'll just take whatever. I'll take a minimal amount of pay. I won't strain the budget, and I'll take the back end.
I'll take 2 sandwiches and 50% of the back end.
Yeah, I'll take 2 sandwiches. And that's especially fucking advantageous to people like Jack Nicholson or others who obviously have bankfuls of money and, you know, are able to roll past a year without making money until the box office comes out, or 2 years or whatever it takes. Probably more like 2 years, obviously. So, you know, it's, again, man, back to obsession. They should have shared the pot. That he didn't share the pot to me, it's a scar that he should want to remedy right away. That she, and this is the thing, like she came out and, you know, you got, you know, some people out there who lack the perspective of understanding that the art director made a major contribution to the success of the movie.
Unbelievable.
That everyone made a major contribution. Like to put a human soul in and try to pretend that human soul didn't contribute that there isn't at least in some form balance in
Because I don't
what's
know,
going
man.
on.
Like, I've only seen clips of that movie. I haven't seen the whole movie, but it seems like the gaffer really deserves some fucking bonus checks.
Well, that's a great point.
You know what I
Because
mean?
now you're getting into like the upper echelon of like the artistry that we get to see.
Because,
Is
like,
when
really, how much
painting with light and
how much of a horror movie is really like all on the director? I mean, I understand that he makes all the decisions, but is he really the only person that gets paid?
and what the worst part about what that fucking guy said about like, oh, she's only had 2 fucking movies, and I'm just like, dude, like when you have
So she's awesome at what she does.
when you have a $750,000 budget, that's who you get.
Yeah,
That's
also-
who you get.
no, it's
and
also-
because they deliver at the point where you go and make $225 million, now you're going to try to hold them accountable for their
Also-
inexperience when they fucking literally lifted you to one of the greatest success stories in cinematic history.
For real. I mean, that's
You're
all.
broken, bro.
Yeah, like that person absolutely deserves it. Also, you don't know whether
Everyone in that movie does.
this person is just talking about 2 credits on IMDb, but you don't know whether this person has been doing like 400,000 fucking music videos before then. Like, they could be the top of the top in some other industry and then transferred over. Like doing if you make your living doing commercials, right? And then you go into movies, your IMDb profile is not going to register all the commercials you did. Do you know? Like, it's so narrow to think that this person has 2 credits and so they've only ever done 2 things. Like, as if there's no crossover talent ever.
Yeah. And then, of course, the risk conversation. Exactly. And, of course, the risk conversation. I mean, risk is only in the conversation when you lose.
Yeah.
Risk is only in the conversation
That's
when
a
you
really
lose.
good point.
The conversation of risk doesn't factor into success. Risk is a non-factor at that point. The risk has already happened. And with regards to the compensation for risk always gets the most of the money. And we know that. The risk always gets the most of the money, bro. Justin Baldoni, to bring it back to the greatest guy that ever lived. And I can't even believe he's somewhere breathing. Like, sometimes I sit around and I'm like, he's breathing. He's somewhere there.
No, dude, there's people that think like that. Don't
He's
make
breathing.
jokes like
They're
that.
like-
It's creepy.
They close their eyes. They're like, I know you're there, and I want you to know that I can feel you.
Do you remember when that voicemail was released? Like, they put out that like late night voicemail of him with his like growly voice,
Yeah.
and there were people who were like making videos listening to it like it was dreamy and
Yeah.
not creepy.
It was so creepy.
Like, he's not talking to a married woman with kids at home.
So my point about Justin Baldoni is that Justin Baldoni owned less than 30%. He owned like 24 or 22% of Wayfair Productions, right? And there were only 2 people who owned shares in the movie, right? Or sorry, in the production company. That was Justin Baldoni and Steven Sarowitz. Steven Sarowitz had 75% of the value of the company because he was putting in all the money. And not only was he putting in all the money, but he was floating it at a high level. Justin Baldoni was being paid a handsome salary to be a part of Wayfair Studios. And so his participation was much, much lower. Point is, Steven Sarowitz was taking the risk on Wayfair. He had the lion's share of the glory. So the idea of like trying to talk about risk, well, risk is relative to their participation.
Mm-hmm.
So if they were the risk takers, they're going to participate, but that doesn't exclude everybody else. And this is like the stupidity of the conversation. It's like, you're trying to say that because they take a risk, nobody else gets to succeed. That doesn't, first of all, not only does that not even make any sense, why would you want your company to have that kind of energy around it?
Yeah, right.
Like, I'm honestly like, this guy's so powerful now. He's instantly a powerhouse in Hollywood, right? This Parker kid. So he's just like this big fucking deal now. And it just sucks because it doesn't suck, and I'm happy for him. But what might suck is if he's going to carry over this kind of mentality. Happiness in Your Life said, yes, it totally happens in every industry. Hollywood has the fame aspect, but all others have the money and power aspects. Every industry I've ever worked in dude, there was corruption in my faith-based movie. Bunch of supposed to be like straight and narrow, fucking, you can take me at my word, Christians, and you can't take any of them at the word.
Those are the worst ones.
Yeah, I mean, you can say
those
that.
are the first ones you can.
I'm not going to say that, but I'm going to say that, like, in an industry where where goodness is supposed to be the prevailing.
In a culture where you're forgiven for your sins just by showing up, I feel like it's especially dangerous to trust people to not be doing, some
well,
shady
not
shit.
to get. I'm not trying to get like up in the Christian, up in Christianity. But I'm just saying, like in an industry where virtue is supposed to matter, I got fucked over multiple times.
I was doing some like minor research, reading a bunch of books about sociopathy and about this specific type of sociopath that they labeled like a covetous sociopath. This is the sort of person who they're motivated by taking away something that belongs to somebody else. Yeah. Not because they want...
I think that's Toby.
This is why I was doing this research.
I think it was like early Toby.
I was actually trying to figure out, what is this dude about? What happened? Right? Because Tobey Maguire never explained why he wanted Don's Plum to burn. So he leaves a bunch of questions that I was trying to figure out the answers to. And anyway, I found my way to this really amazing book talking about covetous sociopaths, where what they'll do is they'll see somebody who's got something of value or some position of status, and they'll try and remove that from that person or remove the person from that thing. Not because they want to obtain it themselves, and not to like there's no way that they could claim it for themselves. So it's not like they're trying to transfer that wealth to themselves. They simply don't want that person to have it.
It's so fucked
And
up.
so they end up needling at the situation until that person has lost the thing. And that's when this covetous sociopath is satisfied. Seems a lot like what happened in your movie, right? Like, he didn't want to destroy your ownership
Toby.
of that movie. Yes, Toby didn't want to destroy your ownership of the movie so that he could claim it. No, he just wanted it to be fucked up for everybody. And then he was happy. So my point for bringing it up, because this goes to happiness in your life's comment. Yes, it totally happens in every industry. Hollywood has the fame aspect, but all others have the money and power aspects. The book had examples from all these different, like, it was basically like petty tyrants in office buildings and stuff that were doing this to people. Like, Suzanne got a promotion, and whatever, the coworker who's a covetous sociopath didn't like it, and so Suzanne's telling the story about how all of a sudden she just started getting fucked with, and she lost her promotion, completely sabotaged by this other coworker for no reason whatsoever. And it happens in people's relationships and all kinds of different, like, you never know when these sorts of people will strike. It's really crazy. There's I think there's like 2% of the population that behaves this way. So it's really likely that you'll run into one in your life.
Connie DiCaprio said that Toby's been playing poker with Timothée Chalamet. The photos are released. Well, yeah, I mean, he's probably taking that poor dude's money.
That's what I thought. I was like, that guy's rich. He's getting invited to poker so that he can become unrich. Oh, he's got a Kardashian girlfriend? Invite him to poker.
I think I'm at the stage in my life with Leo and Toby and all of them where I'm like, it's going to sound weird to you, and I don't want to blow this up into like the wrong direction, but where I'm at the point of forgiveness. Like I'm feeling like I'm at the point of forgiveness, that doesn't absolve them of what they did or who they are, but that it doesn't bother me anymore. I'm getting to the point where it doesn't bother me anymore.
Well, that's different than forgiveness.
Well, you can't take away what I call it. You can't say that. For me, it is forgiveness. For me, it's like I'm in a situation where I'm feeling like, okay, you did what you did. I'm okay with it. I forgive you. And that's the sort of the feeling where it's like, it's interesting because like for Toby, and this will open up so many avenues for me, because I know that I used to like, I can, the best way to describe it is that I would run into like mental, emotional blockades. Like I could be in the middle of a conversation and then Tobey Maguire will come up in it and it will just derail me into a fit. Like, for example, like, and not a fit, like an actual physical, like manifested fit, but in my brain, like an ADHD fit where I'm just, and I'm just kind of unstable and having a difficult time. You know what I mean? And I feel like that's something kind of fallen off. I just don't think it's going to be around much longer. It's not entirely gone, and I still got like a bunch of other people I've got to purge.
A bunch of people?
Yeah.
Not in like the purge type way. All right, let me see if I can find this quote. I'm sorry. Okay.
Guava said, because he says, probably because you've all gone your separate ways, have had good careers. My career has been a bit of a shambles. The For me, the perspective really isn't about them at all. I don't think that I factor in with them at all. I'm like, I'm just like an annoyance. I'm a gnat. But for, they were, they were the foot on my neck.
Here's the thing is I'm trying to find this excellent quote and I can't right now, but Desmond Tutu grew up in apartheid South Africa, and he wrote a lot about forgiveness and just the concept of how do you forgive people for horrific atrocities. And obviously I'm making no comparison with what he went through and what you went through.
No, that would be ridiculous.
But what is similar about them is that you're dealing with people who will make no acknowledgement that they have done harm. And he also was talking about how do you forgive within the absence of any any consequences or acknowledgement or anything. Like he says that that's actually the extremely difficult thing. Obviously, forgiveness is like extraordinarily healthy. If you're going to express an emotion about a horrible thing that happened, forgiveness is one of the, the higher ways, the better ways you can treat yourself,
Did you listen to this? Happiness in Your Life said that is forgiveness. I wrote a book on it. I'm going to read your book, and you got to tell me how to get your book. I want to read your book.
Happiness in Your Life? You wrote a book?
Mm-hmm. On forgiveness.
Why aren't we promoting your book on this live?
I mean, I need that book. She said that is forgiveness, though, and that's pretty cool because I'm assuming that you're talking to me, and yeah, I don't know who you're talking to. Who are you talking to me? Because I don't feel like I need anything from them.
Well, that would be very convenient for them.
It is what it is. Like it's not about them. Again, like you keep going back to them, and I'm telling you, because they're beginning not to factor in to anything that has to do with me and the way I feel, and also with the way I want to feel about specific things. And forgiving them is going to give me my best opportunities to move forward in my life unhindered by them. And they can go out. They can.
Have you been hindered?
For sure.
No. I mean, like now, if you changed your perspective,
yeah,
would you somehow be less hindered than if you hadn't changed your perspective?
Well,
if there's a change from the before and after of you achieving some sense of forgiveness, what actually does that change about your circumstances because of what they did to you?
Well, there's sort of two parts to that to clarify. So the unhindered I'm talking about is the one that has to do with me and my emotional evolution, me and my happiness, me and my general state of well-being, versus I'm not talking about them with their destroying of my career. That's all still there, and it's not going to go anywhere. They're going to block and hinder everywhere they can. They're not kind people.
Yeah, I feel like they're the ones that need to achieve forgiveness.
But that's their problem.
You never actually did anything wrong.
I'm not, well, I'm not sure what you mean by that, but I'm forgiving them, right? There's nothing to forgive me for, so they can. I don't know what they would have to figure out.
No, but they're continuing to hold a grudge against you for something you've never done.
Right.
So that would be nice for them to forgive you.
What I'm learning to do is to not turn the conversation toward them, like in the way the way we're doing it here.
Yeah.
Like I'm learning how internally to not give them that anymore. Like the conversation isn't about them anymore. It's not about them and what they're going to do. It's not about them and what they did. It's not about them and what they do. It's about me.
It's about me. It's finally about me. I can't believe Happiness in Your Life wrote a book. Oh, Happiness in Your Life wrote 6 books? Excuse me.
Oh my God.
When was this going to be revealed?
I feel betrayed. You want to tell us about some other secrets you're keeping?
Happiness in Your Life. You must tell me how to get a hold of these. I want to read all of them.
6 books?
6 books.
Oh my God. Well, can point me to your best one. Well, I was saying, are you aware that there's a musical about a girl? You remember this?
I do.
Who kidnapped Tobey Maguire and locked her in a basement?
I remember hearing about it and then I forgot about it again. A musical.
Jerry Metter should produce that.
Oh my God.
Shannon says, Dale, you seem to be real happy and cool, and Leo and Toby especially seem fake and sad. Yeah, I mean,
It's that yacht life.
thank you for saying that. I'll tell you that I am getting happier by the day. And I'm saying, like, the point of it is that I don't even know if that's true. Like, your perception of that is very real, and I have my perception of it. And we're obviously limited in our scope and ability to be able to understand anything about them. But, I'm just enjoying right now a fundamental shift in my consciousness as it relates specifically to them and the burden and harm that I've carried for decades. And it started to break apart. It started to become brittle as I wrote the book and then published it. But it's been through it's really the Tao Te Ching, if I'm going to be true about it. The Tao Te Ching, is a book that I read, whatever it was, for the first time 30 years ago. It's a book that's come back around. It's a book of 81, I think, poems written by Lao Tzu. It's an ancient philosophical text, and it's called the Tao Te Ching. You've heard of the Tao or Tao. It's actually called Tao. Tao is how it's spelled. Tao is how it's pronounced. Some people do spell it Dao. So the Tao, having the Tao back in my life again and just reading it becomes immediately recognizable that the way to that the fulfillment of myself is mine alone to experience. Mm-hmm. and it is not how do I put this? What happens on an sort of exterior basis, while affects me, does not control me. That the control of me is mine to have.
I guess I struggle with this concept because I don't.
Hard to put in better terms than to. Well, go ahead. Yeah.
I struggle with this concept a little bit because I feel like I have a really easy time compartmentalizing. Like, yes, I am in control of my emotions, and yes, I am in charge of how I feel about circumstances that are out of my control, right? Mm-hmm. But can also be true that that my boot can stay on the neck of the people who have harmed me. Yeah. And that doesn't result in any like pain or resentment or any of those negative feelings that obviously we would do better to shed. I feel like those things are compartmental. So I feel like reaching personal emotional enlightenment and feeling more steady and calmer about the bad things that have happened in the past does not somehow release them of the fucking righteous bondage they deserve to be in for having done harm to people unnecessarily.
This is true, and it doesn't. This is another thing about the Tao Te Ching that I love so much, is that the Tao Te Ching really does sort of say, hey, like, there are worthy wars, Yeah. And they're important and they don't go away. But the strength in fighting those wars, the mental fortitude, the strategic ability is to not be clouded by the fog of my emotional disarray, my emotional chaos.
So what I'm saying is, like, not being clouded by the fog does not necessarily equate to forgiving the perpetrator.
Well, forgiveness is
like, I feel like
else.
Elevating above the hurt is doable while you're also like, fuck that guy forever. It's on site with this motherfucker. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like forgiveness sort of like gives them a pass for bad behavior, unnecessarily. When really, like, you could just rise above it without forgiveness.
Well, so this is where where I'm learning to differ with an opinion like that, where I'm learning that forgiveness isn't about them. It isn't about them.
That's nothing. What I'm saying.
It's all about me. And and forgiveness isn't just a word or an idea. Forgiveness is something experienced. I hate to say a felt sense, What
does that mean?
But, well, in this case, it means that forgiveness is something that is a relationship I have with the events that led to the trauma.
Yes.
So where the forgiveness lies, like, a good example is that I have forgiveness to my father. I forgave my father on a trip as we drove through the corners of Utah and Arizona and Nevada, you know. And as we were going through that little wild moment there, as we were going through there was this moment, this really relatively spiritual moment, where I forgave my father for terrible abuse, and the forgiveness was real. It manifested in me, and it changed how I felt about myself. It changed about how I felt about being in the room with him. It allowed me so much more freedom, and it came through a reconciliation process. It didn't come as a decision. It didn't come as like a, hey man, I'm going to decide today to forgive somebody. It doesn't come like in the same way that you might like go into a confession booth and say, hey, yo, like I killed 3 people last night. It was a real bummer. And I feel really bad about it. And I just want to confess my sins so that I can be forgiven and get on with it. This was a process. This potential for forgiveness between the forgiveness for that I might have for Leo and Toby, that I might be reconciling with, is a 30 plus year process, or a 30-year process, right? It's been a 30-year process. Forgiveness isn't something and look, happiness is the expert, obviously, but forgiveness isn't something that and I guess there is no expert to forgiveness. I think forgiveness is a conversation, but it's an experience, man. And it doesn't have to do with, it's not about accountability. So I forgive my father, more severely, I forgive the people who sexually abused me. And I do. I forgive those people. I went through a process where I had to forgive them. And it took me a fuck of a long time, well over 10 years. And when I got to that point where I forgave them for it, it didn't mean that they should have escaped accountability, or that I wouldn't have been supportive of them being held accountable on a criminal level for what they did, because what they did was so horrible and so criminal, right? So it didn't change. The forgiveness doesn't change accountability. It doesn't change the fact that they were. In fact, what it does is it acknowledges specifically what they did, and why it was wrong, and how it was wrong, and the way in which it affected the person or persons to whom they did the act or acts. So in a lot of ways, forgiveness is a clarity of the offense.
I think the problem is that, like, a lot of times culturally, forgiveness has the effect of like absolving somebody of responsibility of doing harm. Like if this happens a lot in our justice system, is structured in which if you don't press charges won't get brought, right?
Yeah.
So like if you're the harmed party and they're the offender.
Yeah. The perps.
Right. If you no longer feel harmed, then they have no longer offended. Like
that's not how that works.
No, I know, but this is how it's so ingrained in our culture, in this society, because that's how our justice system tends to work.
Yeah.
That if the victim gets to say. And so even if harm is done, it's not like the state will be like, yeah, eye for an eye, motherfucker. Like, it's the victim who gets to say. So if you have reached forgiveness, all of a sudden it gives them the offender gets a free pass, because you're no longer fighting for that justice, Well,
that wouldn't be true in a criminal sense, but it's also not true in the spiritual sense. Like, look, man, if you brought pain upon others, first of all, I think that that forgiveness and healing is a better process, than begrudging, right? So I would rather be healing, and look, it's been a very long and very difficult process for me to get to that.
Begrudging can be healing, though. I mean, like you shouldn't minimize the healing effect of like rage.
Well, I know revenge.
It has been very useful.
No, revenge can be sweet until you realize that it didn't actually take care of the emotional distress, right? Like, look, I want Leonardo DiCaprio and Tobey Maguire held accountable. I want them held accountable. I want the movie to be released. I want Don's Plum to be publicly acknowledged for what Don's Plum is. I was writing a note to one of the people to whom we sent the book. And in the note, I was like, and then I learned that Don's Plum was one of the movies that inspired the Duffer Brothers in the writing of season 4 of Stranger Things. And, that they took that away, that they damaged that they tried to destroy something that had that kind of an ability, that kind of power in and of itself, like art is power in its own way. I don't know where I was going with that. God damn it. I got distracted by my own success there. Every time I say it, I'm like, I kind of utter it in disbelief.
Well, we should wrap it up anyway. I'm obsessed.
Forgiveness is not amnesia nor reconciliation. Well, there it is. There's no reconciliation in forgiveness. There can be, but
how is
not
the boot to remain on their neck if it is not your boot?
Leonardo DiCaprio and Tobey Maguire destroyed my movie. They destroyed the movies of their own friends, and they did it for their own egomaniacal purposes. Tobey Maguire was deceptive, and he deceived his friends, and he deceived me. And those things are real and true, and they'll never come out of my life, out of my mouth in a different manner. I don't regret a word I wrote in my book.
Yeah.
But for maybe the fact that I haven't, like, I don't want to come to the concept of forgiveness in this situation. And so that's why I'm kind of stepping around it a little bit at the moment, because I'm dancing with it and I'm trying to understand it a little better, you know?
Yeah, that's smart.
It
seems like not like an instantaneous thing anyway.
It's impossible for it to be, well, it can be, but not, it can be an instantaneous thing.
See this in the crime shows that a lot of people will be like, I forgive the perpetrator that took my family member away, but you can see that there's so much pain. I think that their church has brought them to a place of forgiveness where it's not actually integrated yet. I feel like it's supposed to be a longer process.
Everything they did is just as terrible. Everything they did is just as wrong. Everything they did is just as shameful. None of that changes. You know, all that stuff is real. It's cemented in stone for me. But how I deal with it, the dance I have with it now is changing. And it's changing for my betterment. It's changing for my empowerment. And it's not changing in some sort of shallow or some potentially vain attempt in trying to heal. It's actually transforming by a process that has been patient, you know, with the deep amount of damage and pain that came along with what those two men did to me and to others. So, and I think that, you know, certainly I think forgiveness itself is one of those things that can be almost scapegoated by people who want to run away from their feelings and emotions. And I think that there are some people out there who might like look at the idea or the concept of forgiveness as a weakness because there's this almost stereotype around forgiveness that creates this sort of escapism. This idea that, you know, now I don't have to deal with these emotions or now I can move on. I can move on now.
You're totally right. It's like the emotional bypassing of toxic positivity, where like if you just there's an analog is like stoicism, you know, where like people, both of those are toxic positivity and stoicism are both such like useful tools for people who would like to avoid actually digging into the shit when they're just like, oh no, it's fine. It's actually, you know what? That doesn't even bother me. It's like, It's very tantalizing for somebody who knows that there's pain there that they don't actually want to deal with, you know?
You know, there used to be a place where like, where in this story, I couldn't like talk about it without being brought to tears, you know? And certainly the expression of emotions is in no form or way a weakness in character. I will say though that for me, it was indicative of an internal wound that I was in control of healing, and that I may not have known, and it's okay that I didn't know. But this is the important thing: is like forgiveness is what allows me the opportunity. Forgiveness and a process through that process. How do I articulate this? It gives me a chance to heal my own wound without the need of anyone else. And that is a personal power. That is a personal power. And there's no sort of, you can't be superfluous with this idea. This can't be like some kind of, you know, imagined thing, you know. This is there's a process. It could be maybe achieved through meditation or through therapy or through just a long time of sitting around going, fuck, man, fuck. Over and over and over and over again. You're the only one who's being harmed by my shouting. These guys are all on
I know, you got your
I got a limiter.
Yeah.
I got a limiter. I'm being limited. All right, let's just clear up the chat and then we'll split. All right. Oh my God, that's so cool. Stranger Things is the biggest show in the whole world. It wasn't. Isn't that cool? And it's fucking true. They literally put out a tweet, and it was a whiteboard, and on the whiteboard, they said this is the DNA of season 4, and right there in the top right hand corner, man, in blue marker, this is how well and how indelibly impressed this is on my mind. There it was in blue marker, Don's Plum. I can see the font, the handwritten font of it. It's just like, it's a thrill, it's a thrill to, and it's not just a thrill because Stranger Things is such a cool show, biggest show ever, all this other stuff. It's just cool to know, like, because Don's Plum was so suppressed and Don's Plum was so maltreated that like there was, I didn't know to what extent it was having any influence on anybody out there. And then, it was just kind of a windfall because I got, windfall two big significant moments, A24, Don's Plum was literally pitched in the room and they greenlit a movie with it. And Don's Plum as an inspiration behind the movie they greenlit. And then this with Stranger Things. So yeah, I mean, fucking, tremendous stuff, obviously. Guava says that in the nicest possible way, it sounds like you guys need to be sent on a pilgrimage together, like the Pussy Posse, come back together and climb Everest. They'll just leave me to die though. Listen, they'll leave me to die,
oxygen tank,
and then they'll make a fucking movie about it, and they'll be like, they'll go to the real life shot of my corpse because they don't take the corpses away.
No, they can't.
It'll be like the real life me sitting with a pouty lip. They'll just leave me to die, dude. Don't tell me they won't. True adversity will heal all wounds. Yeah, I mean, true adversity will heal all wounds is a very interesting way to dance with I think true adversity certainly puts us in face with the kinds of, I think
what you went through was true adversity.
Oh, for sure. Trauma all the way. Happiness says, oh my God, I can't wait till you read it. Well, I can't wait to read it. I want to read it. I don't know how to read it because I don't even know your real name. Or do I? I probably do. And don't.
I think Kylie DiCaprio was telling you about your book.
Your book came into my life at the perfect time and so inspired me to follow my dreams. Oh, Kylie DiCaprio, I think about you all the time. No, I do. I think about you all the time. I want so much. I want everything you want for you. I want for you twice as much.
Oh, that's so sweet.
And it's not just because you've been so kind to me. It's because I'm just always going to root for the purest of the pure. Like the people who I think. I just hope that you're fucking coming up with something great. I hope you're surrendering yourself to it. I hope you totally give in, dude. Let all the self-doubts seep away. Angela read the great quote from
Terrence McKenna
earlier.
But he's a drug head.
Yeah, well, it helps. It helps. All right, guys. Hey, listen, Guava, thank you for coming and hanging out. Read the book. I think you'll love it. It's such a good time. And then maybe you'll also come back with some sagey advice. I'm always open to sagey advice. I have rooms filled with books of sagey advice. It's my favorite. My recommendation to all of you is to read the Tao Te Ching. You'll love it. I'm reading Red Pine's translation.
It's the best, right?
It's not his real name. I don't know that it's the best. I'm trying to steer.
It has a lot of commentary that's helpful.
Yeah, I really love it because it's got all these other ancient philosophers conversing about and debating what Lao Tzu meant with whatever specific poem or line. It's fucking beautiful. It's fucking enlightening as hell. I read this book for the first time 40 years ago, totally changed my life. And then it kind of drifted away from it. And it kind of snuck back in a conversation. There was a conversation. I was like, the Tao Te Ching. Oh my God, the Tao Te Ching. And then I went and then I ordered a copy of it that this person had read, found I was really struggling with the translations, even as beautiful as it was. And then I did some research and I realized, there's a translation that's more suitable to me. Bought that one, and I'm just having the sweetest of dances with this fucking lovely little text that takes but a moment to read, and it's really life-changing, and it's lived for millennia. That's how important this writing is. Imagine just writing something as simple as 81 very short poems and then lasting for millennia, and then maybe that'll help you grasp the sort of depth and beauty that exists in these very small, very simple philosophical statements that are made with the greatest of intentions. You guys are the best. I'll speak to you guys Wednesday. Oh, wait. Tomorrow, apologies to those of you who showed up for the astrology yesterday. As you know, it got all fucked up. Tomorrow at 6 p.m., we're going live on Patreon. Our backup plan, though, is to zip over with a private link to to YouTube if there's a problem.
Yeah.
And if there's a problem, we'll just private link you in, and then we'll do it on YouTube.
So bonus astrology episode tomorrow at 6.
At 6 p.m. It's not a bonus.
6 Eastern.
We've been trying to get this thing out forever. It's happening tomorrow, one way fucking another.
Yeah, we're ready to move on.
We got 40 sweet slides to go over with you guys. You're so wonderful. I'm dragging Angela on here. I gotta get us out of here.
Oh, okay, awesome. I've got this. Okay, Happiness in Your Life has sent us the deets. I'm gonna look this up. Thank you. Wonderful.
Carlos Castaneda. All right, you guys.